blame themselves when ED becomes a problem. For us at Northeast Men's Health, this is unacceptable because ED is simply a medical condition like any other, and we have many treatment options and treatment combinations that can stop ED in its tracks. In fact, we have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases. So call us and get back those intimate moments. Your initial visit is just $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956 or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 5 offices in the Northeast to serve you. Northeast Men's Health, a Promenic restorative health practice.
You're listening to Reese on the Radio, filling in today for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Hey now, what's going on, all you scallywags across the Nutmeg State? You know what time it is. It's time to get in your car, start heading home, so you can hear about the news of the day and, of course, opine about your opinions. Here with Reese on the Radio, filling in for Todd Feinberg on News Talk 1080 WTIC. Our telephone number, 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Plenty of news, plenty of views to get into. Today, something I heard, the desperation of certain individuals baffle me. Not that I believe that something like this will take hold, but it does in some ways. Like sometimes you and I run into someone who's heard something that something we all heard that was outlandish on the television, right? We'll hear something outlandish on TV and it will become a running theme on television, and you'll say to yourself, yeah, no, that's never going to gain traction. All right, okay, yeah. Good luck trying to get that one to work. And then, out of nowhere, you'll be somewhere, dinner party, whatever, local bar, whatever the case might be, and some yahoo out of nowhere will utter that ridiculous phrase that you just saw on television. And you're like, holy crap, someone's actually repeating it. And they do. Well, I'm going to give you a perfect example of that today. By someone we're supposed to take seriously, and someone who was formerly on our side, and I say that collectively, our side of the political spectrum. I mean, it's the most amazing thing I've ever heard in my entire life. But today, I'm going to do something I used to do maybe about 2 years ago, and it didn't fare very well because I was early in. A lot of people didn't know me, and I think they were probably nervous. And I'm going to sort of go anti-equal opportunity here, and I'm going to ask specifically for women to call up today because I got to ask a question I'm not getting. And maybe it's because I'm a man. Maybe because I'm not supposed to opine or have an opinion about this. But I want to hear from women about this. Here's what the question is. There are people who were saying, and maybe it's just a talking point, that the concerns of this election, that in the event that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance get into office, that there are women who should be concerned about their reproductive freedom, that women will no longer have access to getting an abortion. And this is paramount to the people on the left. I'm willing to say, okay, if that's true, it's true, but I've got one question. Let's say that this apocalyptic vision comes to light. This apocalyptic vision happens. And this administration, should it come with Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, they ban abortion in this state or that state. Let's say that it does, right? Let's say this apocalyptic vision actually takes hold. Women, what will they do, or what will you do to avoid ever having to have an abortion in a state that doesn't allow it. Do you understand my question here? What is it that women will do if they are in a state where they cannot have an abortion? What are their options? Because it seems like the only thing is an abortion. It's the only option. What will women do if they ban abortions? And me, I'm a guy. I know I probably don't have my finger on the pulse of this. I may be out of the loop, lady, because I don't have ovaries. I get it. But what would you do? You find out. You wake up one day, and if you're a woman on the left, please explain it to me. You wake up one day, and newsflash. Dun, 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 dun. Today in Ohio, abortions are illegal. What does the woman do then? We can't have abortions. What does she do then? I'm saying, don't get me wrong, I'm thinking that there are other options. But again, I could be wrong. And I know what you're saying out there. I know some of you are out there saying, oh, come on, Reese, are you being serious? Yes, I'm being serious. These people are. They told us that if the Dobbs decision happened, we were told that we were going to see women in back alleys. That's what we were told. We were told this Dobbs decision was going to kill women. I've not seen these reports of hundreds of thousands of women automatically dying. I haven't seen them. Again, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm not looking at the right news outlets, but you would think with a decision that huge, that would be the focus of every news media outlet, wouldn't it? It would be, wow, look at the hundreds of women who are dying in this state, in that state, and there. None. Not saying it, unless I missed it. But it seems like the only option that women have is abortion. Since the Dobbs decision. And now that certain states have banned it, I'm trying to figure out what's a woman going to do. Let me throw an idea at you. And you ladies can tell me if I'm off the beaten path. I'm going to go with, what's the first one? Abstinence. I'm just throwing it out there. Huh? I'm just throwing it out there. Huh? Maybe not having reckless relations with some bum when you can't afford to. I'm just saying, and not all of you are having reckless relationship with bums, but some of you, come on, we know. Don't we? Some of you, we know. Perhaps this will deter that behavior to some degree. Maybe one young lady will turn around and say, oh, no, listen, no, Kyle, stop. Kyle, we don't have abortions in this state anymore. We have to be careful. We can't do that anymore. Perhaps. How about contraception? How about that? How about somebody actually restrain themselves because someone may have to bring a new life into this world that they are now responsible for? I don't know. But no one seems to be taking any of that into consideration. It's like the only choice for women is abort your baby. And again, I'm not seeing these reports where women are having abortions in back alleys, using god-awful things as a tool to facilitate said abortion. I don't want to say the term, but you know the one they always go to. Okay? Think mommy dearest. That's all you need to know. So I'm going to play some audio sound bites of that as well. But I want ladies to call me up because, of course, I can make so many mentions of why men can have this conversation, even though we're told that we can't. Because 7 men were allowed to make the decision for Roe v. Wade back in 1973. And it's interesting enough, there were at least 3 women involved in the, was it 3? Yeah, three women who were involved in the decision to overturn it. There were more women involved in overturning Roe v. Wade than there were in making it a law. And people are saying that men are not allowed to have a conversation about it. Yeah, right. But ladies have never been, and again, I don't hear the women stepping up. I don't hear the women stepping up at all about this. And I think because they know how absurd it is. That's the fact. When they know how absurd it is, they can't defend it. And I've had this argument with everyone, and I said, people, pregnancy doesn't happen in a snap. A woman doesn't wake up with a pregnancy. It's not a cancer. You don't wake up with pregnancy. It's not like a headache or a disease. There's a process that you go through. And people keep talking about, it's like, whoa, what about all these women who ended up pregnant? What can they do if they can't afford it? I was just like, well, it's like, what do we do when we've driven to a bar and we've had too much to drink? Normal people say, take an Uber home, grab a cab, don't grab the keys, don't get behind the wheel. People do, and there are consequences for what if something happens. They get into an accident, they accidentally hurt someone, they accidentally hurt themselves. They put other people's lives in danger. Why? Because they are behaving recklessly. Now, do they have a right to go out and drink? Sure they do. They have a right to go out to a bar. They have a right to go out and hang out with their friends. But what they do thereafter puts other people's lives in jeopardy. So, and for those of you out there who will say, well, Reese, what are you talking about? Other people's lives in jeopardy. We're talking about the life in your belly. Talk about the life in your belly. Okay? Putting other people's lives in jeopardy. There are consequences for that action. That's the tightrope. So, if a woman is going to have intercourse, have relations with someone, the consequence of said action is the likelihood of getting pregnant. Now, then people would say, well, Reese, sometimes contraception doesn't work. Sure, consequence of the action. Because it's not something you just found out. You don't wake up and go, what? They don't work? You know that going in. I meant that figuratively. But you know that in the beginning. It's not something we don't know. Well, what about the people who don't? Inform them. Ignorance is not a defense. If you are going into something without the knowledge of the consequences of it, that is reckless behavior. And no one should have to suffer for you not knowing better. Can you imagine somebody saying, I didn't know you couldn't drink and drive? And that means you should not have to pay a price for getting caught doing it? No, you wouldn't make that argument anywhere. So ladies, please explain to me what are women supposed to do if indeed this horrific thing they keep telling us is about to happen, that states are no longer going to allow abortion, this myth that there's going to be a nationwide ban on abortions. What will women do? Have you devised a plan? Because if you're certain that this is going to happen and it looks like they're going to get their way in your view, where's the plan B? Or are you just shouting at the moon, look at what they're going to do? Okay, let's say it's going to happen. What's our plan? What's our plan if they get their way? Anybody got one? Why doesn't anyone even bother to ask? I'm still stunned by this. I can't get one person to ask one question to any of these people who think apocalyptic things are going to happen about what you're going to do in the case of an apocalypse. It's like asking someone, the tornado is coming. And they would go, the tornado's coming. It's climate change. Okay, look, the tornado's still coming. Do you have a plan or do you want to just shout at the tornado? Look, it's coming. That's just climate change. If we don't do something about climate change, we're going to get more of those. Okay, what do we do with the incoming tornado? I don't know. Scream some more at it? That's what these people are doing. That's what every one of these people are doing, and no one's coming up with a plan. And I want to hear from you. Women particularly. Now, I know the guys. Every guy who's calling up here is a guy I probably hung out with who has the same point of view that I do about this. But again, remember, we're not allowed to say anything. Right? I mean, that's nonsense. I'm saying that as a joke. It's completely tongue-in-cheek. But I know men are usually the practical ones. It's not that women can't be practical. I can attest that many women are very practical and pragmatic. And conservative women understand. But I can't get anyone on that side of the aisle who's talking about this to ever come forward and just say, yes, of course we have options. Our options are this, that, and the third. Or just admit, listen, we don't care about the other options. We just want people to be able to get an abortion. We need them to have it. We need to keep this thing. The abortion is the most important thing. And if we don't have that, we've got nothing. Because we need to win on that issue. I mean, just say that. That's been my mission for a long time. So I wish people would just say what they mean instead of BSing us. Just say what it is. If you have to sugarcoat it, if you have to hide it behind things, like an Easter egg hunt, right? In order for us to get what you're talking about, then you're probably lying. Just tell us what you want. Listen, we really need people to kill their babies. Do you understand that? We have a population problem, and if people keep having babies, we're going to have a problem. Or why not say this? Say, hey, if poor people continue to have babies, we're going to have more and more people on the dole, and more people will have to pay taxes for those children that no one can afford. Say that. I can deal with that. I think we're all adult, but why are you BSing us? Why are you lying to us about what's important here? Or about the options that women have? I heard some woman, there was some protest somewhere, and women were talking about, we'll abstain from having sex with our men. And my view was just like, okay, maybe we could get some work done. Perhaps men would find time to do something else. Maybe they could finally paint the house, ladies. Maybe. Wouldn't that be great? Maybe he could finally mow the lawn. Maybe he could do all those honey-do things that you've been talking about. Okay? And then we don't have to kill any children, right? We don't have to keep funding abortion clinics, which are hard on dollars. And you know what? We don't have to diminish the most vulnerable communities in our country, black and brown, by having them kill themselves off in the genocidal way that Planned Parenthood does. Perhaps. Just perhaps. It's an idea. And I don't think I'm far off on saying that's a pretty good idea. But ladies, if you can, you know the telephone number. 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. Just give me something. Is there anything else that women can do other than have an abortion? Do you think there is? Perhaps we can start educating some of these young women in other options. You remember how they said that Planned Parenthood was to help women plan on being a parent, and then we found out they weren't doing that? It's just an abortion mill. So how about we help women with other options other than getting pregnant so they can have an abortion, and work on actual plans that keep us from killing babies? Just an idea. Just an idea. I think it's a great idea.
Federal.
We'll be back. It's Reese on the Radio, filling in for Todd Feinberg on News Talk 1080 WTIC. Thank you.
Sir.
Yard Goats Baseball is back Tuesday, July 23rd. And what a week we've got. Bouncing Pickle Socks giveaway on Tuesday. We pink out the park on Wednesday.
Hello, Carl.
Celebrate our first responders. Friday and Saturday, it's Whalers Alumni Weekend.
No women calls yet.
I know. They're not going to call.
Get your tickets now before they're gone at yardgoatsbaseball.com.
There's a lot happening in Washington and in your local neighborhood. Follow WTIC News Talk 1080 on the Odyssey app to keep up with the latest.
Summer is here, which means pool days, beach trips, and yeah, you guessed it, traffic jams. Oh yeah, and heat waves. Don't let summer catch you by surprise. Get the local news you need, no matter what you're up to, with the free Odyssey app. And never miss a beat with alerts on breaking stories sent directly to your phone. Listen today on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit NoTimeToWait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
It's one thing falling in love with a house, picturing yourself moving in and calling it home, and quite another navigating the world of price negotiating, mortgage lenders, and finding the budget that works best for you. An agent who's a realtor can make understanding that world easier. Realtors have the expertise, access to proprietary data, and tools to help you get from imagining living somewhere to actually doing it. That's the kind of help we can provide, because that's who we are. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Granger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
It's great to have neighbors you can count on. For more than 45 years, you've been able to count on the law firm of Brown, Painderis & Scott for professional legal counsel, from family law and business to property disputes and personal injury claims. At Brown, Painderis & Scott, our team of lawyers have over 100 years of combined experience and are your neighbors. At BPS Lawyers, you get more than a lawyer. You get a law firm. Visit us at bpslawyers.com. Nick Painderis is responsible for the content of this ad.
And now, a WTIC news update.
90 degrees at 3:30. I'm John Silva. It's the last day of the heat and humidity for the foreseeable future. There is a severe thunderstorm watch in effect until 8. Storms are expected to fire up in some areas ahead of a cold front. That's going to move all the humidity out and usher in drier air and more seasonable temperatures beginning tomorrow. East Hartford's receiving $4.5 million from the State Bond Commission for the demolition of an old school in town. Site of the former McCartan Elementary will be prepped for new housing. They expect to break ground early next year. In Ellington, police are charging 2 men with a theft of cooking oil. It was a little after 5:30 Tuesday morning when police responded to a burglary in progress at a town restaurant. The owner said 34-year-old Janet Gutierrez Rosario and 29-year-old Ronald Gutierrez Sant saw the two pumping oil from the rear of the restaurant into a van. The suspects were stopped later on I-84. That's where troopers say they discovered a large tank in the rear of the van. Both are being held on $100,000 bonds apiece, facing a variety of burglary charges. Tonight, it's Senator J.D. Vance's introduction to a national audience as the Republican vice presidential nominee. He'll deliver his speech before the RNC in prime time. Republicans expected to focus on President Biden's handling of the ongoing crises in Europe and the Middle East. Speaking of Biden, new AP survey out that shows 2/3 of Democratic respondents think the president should drop out of the race. Poll was conducted 2 weeks prior to the Atlanta debate debacle. And the man killed in a shooting last week in Bloomfield has been identified by police there. 24-year-old Keandre Hightower was shot Saturday night on Evan Lane. 17-year-old is accused of being the triggerman. WTIC News Time 3:32. Bob Larson with the forecast.
This weird thunderstorm watch is in effect until 8 p.m. A heat advisory also runs until 8 this evening. Humid the rest of this afternoon with intervals of clouds and sunshine at a high of 94. A couple of heavy thunderstorms will be crossing through the area this afternoon and early tonight. Any thunderstorm could be severe with flooding downpours, hail, and damaging wind gusts. For the rest of tonight, mostly cloudy and humid, low 72. Becoming less humid tomorrow, becoming partly sunny, high 89. I'm Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
Mixed bag on Wall Street today. The Dow's up 251 points, but the Nasdaq has been lagging all day, down 462 points currently. S&P is off 68. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
I'm Jennifer Osborne, General Manager at Saxon Engineering. We work with the government, and so we have to have a lot of things in place.
That's why Faxon is seeking NIST compliance, now a key to landing and keeping government contracts. Tab Computer Systems is helping them do that.
This is like on a whole nother level, and they make it easy to do. They have been right on the forefront of making sure they have products for us to meet all the requirements for our NIST compliance.
When Jennifer has questions about NIST, Tab has answers.
Every time I have a question about something, I have a specific contact, and he's wonderful at getting back to me and saying, okay, here's what I found out. Jen, this is how we're going to tackle this issue.
Ready for your company to become NIST compliant? Get there with Tab's expertise and training. Call 1-888-TAB-4-HELP, 1-888-TAB, the numeral 4, H-E-L-P, or at tabinc.com. Technologies advancing business. Tab Computer Systems.
Hi, I'm Joe with SimpleSaleUSA.com, and I buy houses cash. If you own a house and want to sell it fast at a fair price, call me at 203-896-4000. I can pay cash and close in as little as 7 days. I buy houses in any condition, any price range, and more importantly, anywhere in Connecticut. I'm a private real estate investor who buys several houses a month, and I want to buy more. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind in payment houses. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trash and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, because I love buying junk houses. I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and even foreclosure houses. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at 203-896-4000. That's 203-896-4000. 203-896-4000.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
I'm Kareem
Come on, a minute.
I learned about atrial fibrillation
Ready to
the
go.
hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit NoTimeToWait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
It's one thing falling in love with a house, picturing yourself moving in and calling it home, and quite another navigating the world of price negotiating, mortgage lenders, and finding the budget that works best for you. An agent who's a realtor can make understanding that world easier. Realtors have the expertise, access to proprietary data,
And
imagining living somewhere, to actually doing it. That's the kind of help we can provide. Because that's who we are. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
It is your girl, Cammie. And I want you to know that when I listen to the radio, okay, I listen to Reese on the radio.
It almost sounds like she's rapping that.
right beat to do that.
She had the right beat and everything. That was so weird. Pretty good job, Roland. It's Reese on the Radio, filling in for Todd Feinberg on News Talk 1080 WTIC. I'm going to be hanging out with you for the rest of the week. We're going to try to do something, if I can, if you'll indulge me, folks. If you've been checking out, if you have checked out the Reese on the Radio rundown at reeseontheradio.com, we do a thing on Friday that I want to pay an homage, if I could, to my hero, Rush Limbaugh. And I know you all remember it. It's been 2 years since his passing. If not, 3 years now? I feel like almost 3 years now since his passing. What I would like to do is sort of bring back kind of an open line Friday for him without calling it open line Friday. So what I've called it is the airing of grievances, right? So from Festivus, from Seinfeld. And it's the airing of grievances. And I think that everybody can have a little fun with that, where you come in and whatever it is that's bugging you this week or even that day, you can call up throughout the day. Doesn't matter what the subject is. Whatever it is that's ticking you off, you can air your grievance by calling up the station on Friday from 3 to 6 the entire day, every phone call. And you can talk about the subjects I'm talking about, but if you want an air a grievance at the end of your call, you are 100% invited to. So the airing of grievances, we'll do it on Friday, but just calling up the show, 860-522-WTIC. Speaking of which, let's get to, do we have time? Yeah, let's get to the phone line. Brian is in Plainville. Hello, Brian. You're on Reese on the Radio.
Hey, thanks. I don't know if you remember, you were nice enough to take my call last week. We talked a little bit about if the MAGA extremism talk would stop if Trump was reelected.
Correct.
Now, before I get into my point, I want to say I spent some of my youth in Butler, Pennsylvania.
Wow.
So I've been to that area many times.
Okay.
And it's kind of freaky, but I didn't want to call right off the bat because I wanted to give people in the media a few days.
Right.
I'll give 3 examples: Martha Raddatz, Leslie Marshall, and Jessica Tarloff. Are you familiar with the 3?
Of course, all 3 of them.
All 3 of them go to right off the bat. Well, Trump has said this on this day, this on this day, this
Correct.
on this day, this on this day. My question, and I think it would be an interesting one for any Democrat to get asked. Yes, you have the right to freedom of speech, but why are you calling somebody as a party a Nazi and Hitler and talking the way they talked as a group and about his group of voters? They only respond by, well, he said this, he said that. They still don't understand that they have vilified not just the man, but I'm a Trump voter, I'm sure you are, so that means we're both sexist, racist, xenophobes, you name it.
But we have to be in their, listen, there are some people who look at those on the left and sort of try to reason with the idea, like, why would somebody even twist their mouth to say that Donald Trump has said some nasty things in the past after the man took a bullet towards his face by an assailant? Why you would even twist your mouth to say that? There's only one obvious reason, and that is to suggest, they won't come out and say it, but it is to suggest, to get into the minds of individuals. It's a psyop to say that the shooting was provoked by the words of Donald Trump. In essence, to get you to reason with the actions of this violent individual, Donald Trump has said things that would bring someone to this. In other words, to normalize that behavior. Again, look, I go back to my ex-wife, Mary, who I love talking about, and she has no problem with it. I remember she and I got into a big fight very early in our marriage, and she says, "You make me crazy. That's the reason why I do the things that I do. The reason why I mess up your stuff and I burn your clothes is because of the way you act." And I'm going, okay, so you're saying that the thing that makes you do the violent thing, to make you swing on me or to take a punch at me, is because the way that I behave. So you're justifying your bad actions by saying it's my fault that you won't act right, that you do the violent things, that you react in that way. So you're telling me you have no control. And then I said to her, which completely destroyed any fight and any argument we had in the future, by saying, why is it that I never influence you to do the good things? Why is it that I'm never the influence of you doing a good deed, only the bad ones? And the truth is that she wants justification to do evil because that's innate. That's what they're trying to. That's what they're trying to. That's what they're trying to deflect from, is that these people are inherently evil, behave in evil ways, and now Jessica Tarloff and Martha Radix are giving them an escape, giving them an escape hatch to give, in essence, to almost forgive their behavior, because Donald Trump and his words are far worse than the bullet that slung fast past his face and almost killed him. That's the reason.
If I could add one more thing.
Sure.
Were you as disappointed as I was when Joe Biden was talking about the violence right after the shooting, and he never came out as the president and said it starts with me?
Never, and he won't.
Follow my lead.
And again, it won't, because I go back to the 2 year ago, or just less than 2 years ago. Remember the speech at Independence Hall? That's all you need to know. The Independence Hall speech in red, with that man clenching his fists, screaming about MAGA Republicans and the threat to our way of life. I got a clip I'm going to play earlier in the next hour. All you need to do is hear the not even 6 minutes. It's about 2 minutes worth of what he says about MAGA Republicans. And he's not talking about Donald Trump. He's talking about all of us. Anybody who supports Donald Trump. And it's just I want to say it's a 60-second clip, probably less than that. What he says in there, he speaks about people who support Donald Trump as an armed force, and it cannot be sliced any other way. It can't be parsed in any other way. If you hear these words, and we're going to play them in an hour, and you tell me the reason why he can't take ownership of it, the reason why he will never say.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, no problem. The reason why he can't take ownership of this, Brian, is real simple, is because then he would be admitting that he is culpable. That's all. And they'll blame everything. It's always got to be, it's because Donald Trump says mean things. It's because you won't act right. I've got to burn your house down. Does anybody remember? Roland, let's go to you, because you'll remember this better than anybody. And you're right here. Lisa Left Eye Lopez. Do you remember her?
Oh, yeah, the one that burnt down Andre Rison's house.
There you go. Okay, so you know this, Brian. Lisa Left Eye Lopez burned down Andre Rison's house. Andre Rison's a wide receiver for, was it Green Bay?
He started with the Falcons.
Right, started with the Falcons. Okay, because it was his.
He did go to Green Bay.
That's right.
I don't know where he lived, where he was playing at the time.
Yeah, at the time, I don't know where he was playing, but his home was in Atlanta. And Lisa Left Eye Lopez took a group of sneakers that he purchased he never bought her one pair of sneakers. He bought a whole slew of sneakers. She, in retaliation to him not buying her anything, took all the sneakers and put them in a tub, and she set them on fire. Okay? And the excuse that Vibe magazine, to show you exactly what I'm talking about, Vibe magazine, after that fire, did a cover with TLC dressed as firemen on the cover of Vibe magazine to mock what Lisa Left Eye Lopez did. In essence, to suggest that she had some justification for burning down her lover's home because she had the right to be upset. Not the fact that she committed arson and she deserved to go to jail for it, but they glamorized her being upset. What's the name? Who's the woman who drowned her kids, chasing the older one around the kitchen table 3 times after she drowned the first 3? Her name was Andrea.
Yeah, I can't remember her name.
Yes, just recently, she's supposed to be coming up for parole, but she refuses to stay. But anyway, she killed her kids. She drowned them. What did the court system try to do? They tried to blame postpartum depression, and the news went so far as to suggest that her husband was culpable because he kept getting her pregnant regardless of her postpartum. But not the fact that this woman chased one of her children down in the house while he was trying to escape her clutches, and when she caught him, she drowned him right next to his siblings. They tried to blame the husband who was at work, not her.
Yeah, I guess I should not be shocked then.
Exactly. None of this. Lorena Bobbitt. Do I need to go on? Lorena Bobbitt. Who did they blame? It was his fault that she cut off his appendage.
Yep, that is true.
I mean, come on. That's the world that we're living in right now, is that no one is responsible for their actions. It's the actions of others because he said the mean thing. That's why. And if he just stopped saying the mean thing, we would stop reacting so badly.
Yeah, all right. man. I appreciate your
Thank you,
time.
man. I appreciate I appreciate you too, man. Do we have time to? Yeah, let's take George in St. Louis. Hey, George, you on Reese on the Radio.
Hi, Reese.
Hey, sir.
I would like to talk about, depart from the theme.
Sure.
I'd like to talk about Crazy Central, Crazy Democrat Central, which is California. They're the ones that are pushing renewable energy, and I've been on this.
You have been on this like all.
Yeah. Anyway, last week, week 28, renewable energy dropped 1,500 megawatts. That's more than a nuclear plant.
Aren't we? But aren't we at the point right now, George, where many people are abandoning the call for using? I mean, with the exception, I know Lamont. I know Lamont's thinking about
abandoning electric car.
Yeah, no, but I think Lamont is actually trying to revitalize his idea to bring that, bring that back.
So here's what Democrats are pushing. They're saying we should abandon $100 trillion worth of fossil fuels, namely oil, and install renewable energy, which drops 44% the months of July and August when it's needed most. This is the kind of Democrat insanity that's been pushed off on everybody for the last 4 years.
We just got 3 months,
it's time
George.
Somebody stepped forward with facts and said renewable energy is crap.
We're coming back. Listen,
it does not work.
George, we got 3 months where there is hope. Do you understand that? There is hope. I know you think there's. Do you? And I'll ask you this: Do you think that the election of Donald Trump and J.D. Vance gives a strong possibility that we'll finally start moving up? I know the environmental wackos will probably go ape even more so, but at least on an administrative level, I think that the president will put the kibosh on a lot of this, right?
Yeah, I would say, Reese, when Trump and Vance are elected, and I give that 100%.
So do I.
I could see tens of thousands of Democrat jobs, firings going on, gone. These permanent unelected officials that are working for. That are working for the Democrat Party, not for you.
Right.
I can see tens of thousands of those jobs, including the environmentalists, gone.
Yeah, me too.
They can.
Me too.
They can count their day. Right now, they can count their days.
That's right.
They've got. 5
Here's what I want.
months,
Here's what I want to do.
to
I want them,
their job.
George. I want them to be out of whatever their institute that they're working at, or any government. What do you call it? A contractor job that they're in. I want them out there, and I want to see these guys go back into the private sector and see if they can get a job with half of the stuff that they've been able to pull on the federal government under the Biden administration.
You know, Reese. Just one last point. You brought up the private sector.
Yeah.
Unless someone has owned a business and ran a business, you're not. You should not be running for political office. You're unqualified for political office.
They are, exactly. I agree. Thank you, George. And thank you, Michael B. in the chat room for telling me Andrea Yates. That's her. I want to know why I always forget her name. Andrea Yates. By the way, Susan Smith is up for parole as well. And you might remember Susan Smith was the young woman who lied that she was carjacked by a black man and her 2 babies were in the back seat in their car seat. And it turns out that she pushed her vehicle into a lake, killing them both.
Federal.
She's currently up for parole very soon. All right, got to take a break. When we come back, more news, more views. Back to this abortion thing. Come on, ladies, get on the phone. 860-522-WTIC. It's Reese on the Radio, filling in for Todd Feiberg on News Talk 1080 WTIC.
Men, low testosterone causes a host of problems. These include a low sex drive, bad sleep patterns, unproductive workouts, decreased energy, brain fog, and more. But many men just attribute these symptoms to aging and don't consider that there are medical treatments that can give them back their vigor and vibrancy. This is Dale for Northeast Men's Health, and if you're feeling like I just described, it's time for you to treat that low T and change your life. At Northeast Men's Health, we're experts in treating low testosterone and other men's sexual health conditions. We've successfully treated thousands of men for low T and have seen the amazing difference that those treatments can make in a man's life. If you're feeling like the vast majority of men who are low T, within just a few weeks, you'll feel your energy return. That brain fog will go away. Your sleep will improve, as will your workouts, and your sex drive will be significantly enhanced as well. So make an appointment and make a true life change. Your initial visit is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 800-930-5956. That's 800-930-5956. Or go to northeastmenshealth.com. We have 5 offices across the Northeast to serve you.
Maybe you have arthritic pain, and that joint pain is keeping you from doing things you love. Bone-on-bone pain, knees, hips, back, or shoulder. Well, there actually is a whole slew of exciting new cellular therapies and get you lasting relief. It's called QC Kinetics. They're helping patients like you every single day. QC Kinetics, the nation's leader in what they call advanced regenerative medicine. I'm talking about cutting-edge treatments that accelerate your own body's healing properties, that revitalize your joints so you can move again without pain. It helps so many people, thousands more around the entire country. So if you're living with chronic pain from arthritis or injury, you need to know that steroids and surgery and pain pills are no longer your only option. Learn how QC Kinetics can treat the pain, enhance your joints to restore mobility, give you long-term relief with no downtime. The future of medicine, but it's here now in Avon, New Haven, and Glastonbury. That consultation, by the way, is free. 860-440-PAIN. Again, 860-440-PAIN. It's QC Kinetics. That consultation, just to find out about it, is totally free. 860-440-PAIN.
Today, we're constantly taking photos and videos to remember our favorite moments.
Hold on a minute.
Those captured before the smartphone. What about the memories tucked away on aging VHS tapes, film reels, or in fading photos?
These cherished memories are fading away with time, vulnerable to threats like heat, moisture, and mold. But fear not, there's a solution to safeguard your legacy. Hi, I'm Adam.
And I'm Nick. Together we founded Legacy Box over a decade ago with one mission, to bring your memories into the 21st century.
It's time to bid farewell to old tapes you can't watch and faded photos. Legacy Box transforms them into digital treasures, ready to share with a click.
Just like magic, your shoebox of memories is now safely stored in the cloud or on a thumb drive.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box, so you can rest assured your priceless moments are in good hands.
Don't let your childhood fade away on old tapes. It's time to digitize those priceless moments.
Fast forward into the digital age. Visit legacybox.com/value and unlock 50% off your order. That's legacybox.com/value.
You're listening to Reese on the Radio, filling in today for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
And we're back. We got a couple of minutes, but I'll get to George and Canton real quick. And I told you, the women, they come out of the woodwork. They want to text me, but they don't want to call me. Julie B. in Boston just texted me. She goes, wait. Why are you only trashing women here, Reese? There are plenty of guys that you could talk ish about. Yeah, I could talk about the guys. But look, I don't know about you and where I come from, okay? I know where I come from. And I grew up. The person who is in charge, and we're talking about legitimate relationships. I'm not talking about any violence here. I'm not talking about those situations. But as far as relationships go, okay, it is always at the behest of the woman on whether or not, the guy's going to get lucky, as it were, right? Talk about to your girlfriend, your significant other, or your wife. It's always the woman who, in essence, like she's the one who gives the okay. Green light goes through her, But the guy can't talk a woman into getting an abortion. Remember when Justin Timberlake did it? What happened when we found out that Justin Timberlake made Britney Spears get an abortion? Oh, hell broke loose. Let's go to George and Canton. Hey, George, you're on Reese on the Radio. George, you there? Did we lose George?
He's there. He's just not talking.
Okay. He may have stepped aside. Okay, George. That's all right, George. That's okay. Come back in the next hour. I'm sure you want to jump in. But yeah. Justin Timberlake, I just talked about this a little while ago on my Sunday show. People were upset when they found out that Justin, I guess some book that Britney Spears released. She said that Justin had talked, when she got pregnant, Justin talked her into an abortion because they were too young. Now, don't get me wrong. I think that was horrible that they got an abortion. It's Justin Timberlake and Britney Spears. Pop princess, pop prince, come on. Who didn't want that? I mean, that's like royal family type stuff, right? For those two to get together and have a kid, that would have been beautiful. Britney would have been far better off today, wouldn't she? Wouldn't she, if it had been her and Justin forever? Anyway, I'm sorry. In my twisted mind, I'm sitting up here going, I'm mocking all of the tabloids that would have shown us, like, the first baby pictures. I'm doing the whole scenario in my head on what that would look like for the two of them. But he talked her into having an abortion, and people are upset about it. There's no way that people wouldn't have been raving about a Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake baby. We'd have been waiting for his first album to come out by now. You would have bought that album, right, Mark Christopher, in the BPS Traffic Center?
Yeah, I actually do like Justin Timberlake.
I love his music.
Talented guy. Yeah, I do too.
I mean, and watching him live in concert, I watched this thing on Netflix. He did the 2020 tour, when he goes out there, and it was all live music. And I was, the system I was listening to was just beautiful. And the live instrumentation was like, it took my breath away. I'm like, I really like this Justin Timberlake guy. I was completely floored by him. Imagine him and Britney Spears having a kid.
Probably be a good-looking kid.
Good, exactly. The kid would have been amazing. He would have probably floated.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But it just wasn't to be, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know. It's sad. It's sad. What are you going to do?
Yeah, seriously, what are you going to do?
There it is.
Cannot leave with you. Gentlemen, good night. Ladies,
that whole album was great.
Good morning.
Yeah, good groove there. Hey, good afternoon, Reese. Good afternoon, everyone. If you're
And who produced those songs?
Wasn't that Pharrell?
Yes, there you go.
Don't forget Timberlake too, but they're both
the
from Virginia
greatest
Beach.
producer of all time.
Is slowing, approaching the Bulky Bridge, 84 eastbound, some delays, 46 up to 48 Capitol Avenue. Looks real good east of the river, 291, 384, 2 eastbound's okay, Glastonbury to Marlboro, 9 northbound slowing from exit 22 up to the Aragoni, 84 eastbound tight in Waterbury by 18, 84 eastbound in Danbury, some slow traffic by exit 8. South 95 New Haven slowing from 46 down to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
Remember, for all station contest rules, go to WTIC.com/rules.
WTIC weather.
Severe thunderstorm watch and heat advisory are in effect until 8 o'clock this evening. For the remainder of today, a mixture of clouds and hazy sunshine, hot and humid, high 94. Thunderstorms across the area later this afternoon and early tonight. Any storm could be severe. Later tonight, lingering clouds, humid, low 72. Becoming less humid tomorrow, morning clouds, some afternoon sun at a high of 89. Cooler tomorrow night and clear, low 62. I'm Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
WTIC is 99 and kicks off a year-long celebration to 100 years on the air. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
4 o'clock, Hartford, temperature 89 degrees. Good afternoon, I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. It's been a third day of searching for two men who entered Candlewood Lake in Danbury Monday night and never resurfaced. That operation is now being designated a recovery mission. The two men entered the water between 10:15 and 10:30 Monday
2 minutes,
night.
be back.
Some witnesses told police.
You got it.
Two jumped in from their boat. They are looking for a 26-year-old and a 38-year-old man. Foreign policy taking center stage, day 3 of the Republican National Convention in Milwaukee. More from CBS News political director Finn Gomez.
Issues that has drawn some controversy within the party and also externally is the senator from Ohio, J.D. Vance's position on Ukraine. Now, even his position, he wrote a Wall Street op-ed a little while ago, earlier this year, that said that essentially that we should remove our focus from Ukraine and really focus on Asia.
Now, Vance expected to deliver his speech in prime time tonight. Former President Trump will address the gathering in accepting his nomination Thursday night, which we will carry here live on WTIC News Talk 1080 with the program beginning here at 9. Lawmakers are being briefed by the Department of Justice and Homeland Security into the assassination attempt on former President Trump. Investigators still have not identified the gunman's motive. Correspondent Charlie DeMar is in Butler, Pennsylvania, says a new round of questions have come up.
What happened with Donald Trump once he left the rally here? We've all seen the images of Donald Trump being surrounded by Secret Service, whisked off the stage. He was taken to Butler Memorial Hospital, but we still have a lot of questions from the doctors, his medical team that treated him here. We still haven't heard from them about the extent of the injuries, how he was treated, what treatment that he was given.
Homeland Security and the FBI currently investigating the Secret Service. That costly Gaza pier that was built by the U.S. military never lived up to expectations and sustained storm damage. Now it's a goner.
The pier was only operational for 20 days after it arrived in May. One U.S. official says the mission is over. It was plagued by bad weather and then security concerns. Aid groups couldn't safely deliver the assistance once it arrived. The pier is currently off the coast of Israel because of high seas and won't be returning to Gaza.
CBS's Cammie McCormick. Man and woman due in court today after Cromwell police say they were involved in an armed robbery at a motel in town on Tuesday. Under arrest, 28-year-old Trevor Sims, 33-year-old Kayla DeMano. Officers received the call from a person who reported being robbed at the Super 8 motel on Industrial Park Road. The suspects were later arrested. Sims charged with robbery, conspiracy, larceny, and carrying a dangerous weapon. His alleged cohort, DeMano, faces charges of robbery, larceny, and conspiracy, each held on a $250,000 bond. Local and state officials gathered in East Hartford this afternoon at the site of the old McCartan Elementary School to announce $4.5 million from the State Bond Commission for a plan to build additional housing in town. Money will be used to demolish the school, which previously also served as the town's senior center. About 25 new homes expected to go up. East Hartford Mayor Connor Martin.
This project fits into the overall strategy that East Hartford has embarked on to provide housing for all types of residents, no matter your socioeconomic background, no matter your lifestyle.
After demolition, the project is expected to go out to bid with groundbreaking slated for next year. The new homes expected to be ready by 2026. Closing bell report sponsored by Bouvier Insurance. It was a big downer for the NASDAQ today. Shed 512 points. The Dow up 243. NASDAQ dropped 78. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Does your job
1 minute
your feet all day? Teachers, postal carriers, salespeople, and restaurant staff. Many of us need our feet to get us through the day. Hi, this is Mike with the Good Feet Store, and I'd like you to hear from Donna. She's a nurse and a real customer of the Good Feet Store who wanted to share her story.
Oh, I have to tell you, I have struggled with pain in my feet. I was diagnosed with plantar fasciitis. With the 3-step program, it really fits to your lifestyle. I work in a hospital. I'm a registered nurse, so being on my feet, walking throughout the hospital during the day, I am free from any type of pain. And after working a 12-hour shift, I go home and my feet do not hurt.
Whether you're a nurse or anyone wanting to enjoy work without your feet getting in the way, come see us at the Good Feet Store. Learn more at goodfeet.com. We're located in Avon at 25 Climax Road across from Whole Foods. Good Feet Arch supports are HSA and FSA eligible. Schedule your free test walk at goodfeet.com.
This is Reese on the Radio, filling in for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
That's the greatest producer to ever live, my friend.
One of my favorite beats ever.
Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC.
NBA Street, I used to love that game. This was a theme song for that game.
Goodness gracious. I love rolling.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something, folks. Don't think that I don't walk into this knowing exactly what the response is. Okay? I know what the response is going to be. I get nothing. From the ladies who want to opine. Nothing. Because they know that I'm right. You validate me. You validate me without even knowing you validate me. I get pushback from women all the time. I'd never forget, I had this conversation with this young lady about abortion. And I was talking about the overwhelming need to talk about the abortion in the African-American community. And this woman's response to me was, well, who's going to take care of them? And I went, you are. What do you mean I am? I said, well, what the heck do you think the black community is? right? You're a community. Isn't that you've been telling us for the longest that you're a community in essence? What does a community do? It takes care of each other. It's a collective, right? You want things for the collective. You need things for the collective. You want better education for black kids. You want better jobs for black people. You want better housing for black people. You want a black agenda. Well, y'all should be able to take care of all of these kids. All of these unwanted kids. Unless you're telling me the only option is to kill them. Huh? I mean, unless you're trying to work yourselves into extinction. I mean, you just tell me. Help me understand. Maybe I'm out of the loop. Maybe, perhaps, I'm a guy who doesn't have an ovary, who doesn't understand. Or maybe I'm a conservative black man and I ain't been black enough long enough to understand the plight of black people. Maybe I'm just out of the loop. Help me out if you can. Let's go to somebody who can help me out with some traffic at the BPS Traffic Center. Hello, Mark.
All right, good afternoon, Reese, and good afternoon, everyone. Well, if you're heading into Hartford right now, pretty good ride overall. Southbound 91, you're going to see your delays 33 down to 32 A and B. Northbound 91, good ride, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84, slowing both the bridge into the tunnel. 84 eastbound, a little tight, but getting by 48 Capitol Avenue. 291, 384, that looks good east of the river. 2 eastbound's okay, Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound slowing, 22 up to the Ariconi Bridge. 84 eastbound, slightly slow in Waterbury by exit 18. If you are traveling 84 eastbound in Danbury, you've got a little slow traffic getting by exit 8. 95 southbound New Haven slows 46 down to 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather.
Severe thunderstorm watch is in effect until 8 o'clock this evening, and heat advisory also lasts until 8 p.m. We'll stay hot and humid the rest of today with a mix of clouds inside at a high of 94. A couple of heavy thunderstorms will be across the area a bit later this afternoon through early tonight. There are currently storms just to the west of Connecticut, headed eastbound. Any of these storms could be severe with drenching downpours and potentially damaging winds and hail. Then later tonight, lingering clouds. Still humid, a low of 72, but it will become less humid tomorrow. Early morning clouds, then some sunshine, high 89. Clear, cooler, and more comfortable tomorrow night, low 62. Friday looks nice, mostly sunny, low humidity at a high of 87. Right now it is 92 in West Hartford. It's 90 degrees in South Glastonbury and 89 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
Start your day with all the latest sports information. Matt Soroyce has updates from the Cordell and Cordell Sports Desk at 15 and 45 past every hour. Only on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Did you know that 9 out of 10 customers would recommend AAA insurance to a friend? 9 out of 10? 9 out of 10 people don't even love their birthday. Yeah, their own birthday. The one occasion where eating cake at any time of day is not only accepted, it's actively encouraged. Wait, does that mean people like us more than cake? Legendary service and superior coverage from AAA Insurance. Something 9 out of 10 of our customers would recommend. Find out why at AAA.com/insurance and get a quote. Based on a 2023 customer survey. Insurance provided by CSAA Insurance Exchange.
LatinoFestUSA.com presenting the 9th annual Hartford Latino Fest. Saturday, July 20th from 12 noon to 7 p.m. It's free admission, open to the public at Duncan Park, 1214 Main Street, right in downtown Hartford. Latin food and drink courts, service providers, job opportunities, local artists, DJs, dance schools, live bands, and our headliner, Dominic Marte and his Bachata Band. The 9th annual Hartford Latino Fest 2024.
He
Again,
pronounced bachata
free admission.
horribly.
Call Luna at 860-983-5629. Again, that's 860-983-5629. Proudly supported by Michael Chambers Jr., Hartford Yard Goats, Kia of East Hartford, Charter Oak Healthcare, Humaka Restaurant and Lounge, Liberty Bank, Hartford's Town and City Clerk, Univision, and WTIC News Talk 1080.
And paid for by AG. Attention timeshare owners. If you need to get rid of your timeshare for any reason, please listen to the following message. Getting out of a timeshare commitment is not easy, and it takes time. But we specialize in helping consumers legally get rid of their expensive timeshares forever. Can't get the vacation dates that work for you? Maybe you felt taken advantage of or forced into the timeshare? Maybe you just can't continue to shoulder those monthly payments any longer. If you need to eliminate your timeshare commitment, then you need to take down this number, 800-866-7061. We will safely and legally get rid of your timeshare payments forever, all with a 100% satisfaction guarantee. Don't continue to let your timeshare be a financial burden to you and your loved ones. Call us now at 800-866-7061. The call is free. The consultation is free. Call 800-866-7061. That's 800-866-7061. Again, 800-866-7061.
This is Reese on the Radio, filling in for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
What's up, everybody? You know who it is. You know who it is. It's Reese on the Radio. Frederick Douglass of the 21st century.
It's WTIC News Talk 1080.
What is this violent sounds that I'm hearing?
You said the whole album was fire.
Which album was this one?
JT.
This song doesn't sound familiar to me. I don't know why.
Body Count.
Oh, that's why. Body Count. That's right. That's right. I do know this song. Maybe I just don't recognize it unless Justin's singing on it.
His voice, it just makes you forget about the beat.
Totally. You know, like, I'll admit, one of the cheesiest records they had in the Justin Timberlake, that album that they did together, was that song Takeout. Is it called? It's got to be called Takeout. It's the one where the entire song is about, it's puns about ordering food, but they're relating it to dating a girl. It's a real catchy record, but it is cheesy as all hell. It's just the lyrics and everything about it. And again, I love it just because it's so well done and it's Timberlake at his best. John Beckman, who has joined the chat room. And by the way, if you'd like to join the chat room, go to reasoontheradio.com. Go to reasoontheradio.com. Join us on Facebook or on Rumble, and you can join the chat room live if you don't want to call up. John Beckman asks, have you spoken?
Is it Carry Out?
Yeah, Carry Out. That's the one. I'm sorry. I said Take Out. Carry Out. That's the one. John Beckman says, have you spoken about why Musk is moving all of his operations out of California yet? No, I will be talking about that later on. In fact, the next hour, at the end of the next hour, I will be talking about that as well, because I saw that story today. In fact, he's pretty much moving everything out of California for obvious reasons. It's time to just get out of California. And that's another thing that people are starting to recognize. All of this screaming and hollering about what Donald Trump and what J.D. Vance is going to do to the country is all nonsense. It's ridiculous. They keep using the words extreme. I don't think they know what that word means. They don't. This is extreme. Here's Elizabeth Warren on The View on ABC. This is what sparked this thing I was talking about at the first hour.
Can I just do a quick one on this? I know we may want to talk about this later, but think about it this way. Today, 30% of all women in America live in a state that effectively bans abortion, and that means likely blocks access to IVF.
Right.
If the Republicans, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, have their way, get their chance, it won't be 30% of women live in those states. It will be 100% of women.
Right.
So what's the plan, Elizabeth? Come on. What's the plan? Women won't have access to abortions. What's the plan? Let's just tell the ladies not to get pregnant. Just stop them. Let's put an end to it all anyway. Think about it. Think about what you get out of this. Population control, which again, remember, what's the big problem with climate change? It's all man-made. It's overpopulation anyway. So now if the ladies are not procreating, you don't have a population problem, right? I mean, it makes sense. Why not?
And remember with J.D. Vance, he has said about abortion, no exception for rape or incest. Remember, he's from Ohio, where the 10-year-old girl who had been raped
By an illegal,
could not get the medical care that she needed. And J.D. Vance says that's how it should be for everybody in America.
So what do they do? What do they do? Unless you're suggesting to me that every woman that's going to end up pregnant in the future is all going to be as a result of rape and incest. I mean, if that's what you're saying, then just say that. Just say that. I mean, you're using the smallest common denominator in all of this to talk about this issue. There's got to be a plan for just average women who are in relationships with people that they love, that they end up getting pregnant with. What's the plan? They don't seem to have one. Let's see if she comes up with one.
Now, that's one side. On the other side, Democrats and Joe Biden are fighting to make Roe versus Wade law of the land again.
So the only plan is that we get abortion. That's it. That's the only choice that women have. Either they keep the baby or we make Roe v. Wade law across the land.
Right. That is a discussion we need. That's what we need to talk about. And I don't think of that as tweaking up the rhetoric. I don't want to do name calling. That's not the point. It's not to get out here and troll and talk about how people looked or to use bad names. It's to talk about what the issues are and what the choice will be November 5th.
You hear that, women? You've only got two choices. Abortion banned or get an abortion. That's it. There's no other plan for you. 860-522-WTIC. George is back. Hey, George, you're on Reese On The Radio.
Reese, greetings. You there?
Yes, sir. How are you, sir?
All right. Good. I could hear you before. But look, I want to make a couple of points, and then I've got a reason. The woman that said they couldn't put agents up on the roof.
Yes.
Because it was slanted.
Sloped.
Did you notice that when the snipers took out the shooter,
they were on slopes?
Pardon?
They were on sloped roofs.
Yes, on a sloped roof. Yeah. the dead body didn't roll off the roof.
Sure enough, didn't.
It wasn't slanted, and of course there were people that actually built that building that had to walk on that building while they roofed it.
That's correct.
Survived. This woman is an embarrassment.
She's inept. This is what happens when you hire children. This is what happens when you hire children.
And I wonder, I think I understood she came from a food or beverage company.
She was whatever. Security for PepsiCo. She used to be in charge of making sure no one stole Cheetos.
I wonder if this woman's ever worn a bulletproof vest or carried a sidearm. I wonder about that.
I don't know. I think she was well liked by Jill Biden and given an opportunity to run the most important job in Washington, and that's protecting the President of the United States.
Of course. Now, the next thing, they said in the Milwaukee, they took 57 buses off the road immediately to take the wraps off them because they were apparently the advertising against Trump. I guess it was incendiary or whatever.
Right.
So the left recognized, and by their own apparently admission,
that's right.
By taking it off, they admitted that it was incendiary.
That is correct.
And I think it's interesting that they accused Trump of inciting the quote riot unquote on January the 6th.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember the words exactly about going to the Capitol. However, none of the people were armed. I don't know how you take over any place when no one's armed, and the only person that was killed was an unarmed woman, veteran woman, killed by the Capitol Police.
That is correct. Ashley Babbitt, say her name, they tell us.
Now, if I understand and I remember Maxine Waters' words, get in their face.
Correct.
A restaurant or a guest, get in their face.
Let them know that they're not wanted.
Well, and that was a directive in my that was an order.
Absolutely.
Get in now. If somebody gets in your face, I'm not sure. I'm not an attorney. I know there's assault and battery.
Absolutely.
I think a battery is when you touch or hit someone, but I think an assault can be verbal.
But George, didn't we see that thereafter? When she was out there on that bullhorn telling people to get in people's faces, what did we see immediately after? We saw protesters coming up to public officials, to elected officials at restaurants where they were sabotaging them or ambushing them while they were in restaurants, screaming and shouting at them while they were minding their own business, doing exactly what Maxine Waters directed them to do.
That was a directive, not
exactly
not just a. It's like when Trump said find me 11,000 votes.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of like a sales meeting in a corp, because I've been a salesman forever. The sales manager says, now go out and sell some product.
Yeah, go out and find me some customers.
But get me some. Now, here's the last that I want to wrap it up with.
Yes, sir.
People quote Yamamoto. And I've got it right here, Reese, because I'm going to read it.
Yes, sir.
I'm not going to. It's very short. When Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, here is what Yamamoto said, and I'm looking on Google. He said, "I fear all we have done is to awaken a sleeping giant and fill him with a terrible resolve." They always leave that part out.
Yeah.
That's the chilling part.
That's right.
He knew when he did what he did that they poked the bear and they were in for a world of hurt. Now, here's the thing. I believe, and I watched every single second of the 2 nights of this convention, I think it has been sterling, 5-star. And I've heard a few of the lefties commenting, and these people are beneath contempt. But here's the thing.
Yes.
The theme of the Republicans are, it's not Republican crime or victims or Democrat victims. If you get mugged on the street, the mugger doesn't ask you who'd you vote for, Biden? Oh, if you voted for Biden, I'm not going to steal your watch and wallet. It's colorless, ageless. There's nothing about it.
That's right.
That has anything to do with politics. And I believe, and I've seen a couple of interviews with black people, they look like they could have been in their 50s on the street on Fox, interviewed, and these 2 people, a man and a woman separately, said, we, and I'm sure they're talking about the collective black we,
sure,
we have been voting Democrat forever because we always did. And now I'm saying this, there's nothing that the progressives want less than an informed electorate.
That's right.
With critical thinking. And these 2 people both said, we are now looking at the issues and we're not voting Democrat because we're told to.
Yeah.
And so this whole point is that we have been awakened, and we, the collective right, and I hate right left, I like to refer to it as the correct and incorrect. But the fact is that the resolve that I have seen set in this convention, and also,
George, I got it. I've let you go on for a while, but I got to wrap you up. So real quick.
A pleasure, Reese. Thank you.
No problem. I didn't want to cut him off. He was going on a good play. He was on a good rant. He was on a really good place. Anyway, but I will take it. I will take all the calls. I've got Mike, I've got James, and I got Harry. Please just stay on the line. And wow, Harry's in Terryville. Woo! I miss Terryville. We'll take those calls. So please be patient with me because we'll get into all of that. We're talking about anything and everything under the sun, as you can see, because it's just one of those days. And I never even expected people to not want to get off of what's going on in the RNC, which is why I'm waiting to get into that. There's an important thing that's happening at the Republican National Convention that I'm seeing sort of play out everywhere, and that is the conversation about J.D. Vance. I want to get into a little bit of that in the next half hour as to what, it wasn't like we didn't know that the attacks were going to come, but it's what people are saying about J.D. Vance and his statements about Donald Trump that I want to put in perspective, and I want to take your phone calls about it after I explain it to you and my views on it. Because there's one thing that I know is that, in fact, it was also said about Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley when they spoke last night, that there were a lot of people who were mocking them for the change of tone, or the change of rhetoric that they heard. A lot of people don't understand what that's about, or at least these people on the left in the news don't understand it's about, or maybe they do. But I want to talk about that and how ridiculous some of this argument is about, oh, he sounds so different. Now he's part of the cult and blah, blah, blah. No, it's so silly to even hear it. And I've got the one example on the left that they cannot deny And it will shut up anyone who suggests that it's not okay for Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, or J.D. Vance to be supporting Donald Trump today, because they don't seem to care when it happens on their end. And I'm going to give the ultimate decision that someone made on the left that no one seems to have batted an eye about. In fact, they revere it. So expect that when we return. And you guys, I think some of you are quick enough and astute enough to know exactly what I'm talking about. Not with the hypocrisy, but just the fact that there are people who are behaving like no one's ever done that anywhere else. No one's had a change of heart on the rhetoric after the fact. So we'll get into that a little bit as well. It's time to go to the BPS Traffic Center with our good friend Mark Christopher. Hello, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. If you're heading in toward Hartford right now, southbound side of 91 looking slow, 33 down to 32 A and B. If you're on the northbound side of I-91, good ride, Cromwell up into Windsor. Westbound 84 is a little tight, approaching the Bulkley Bridge in East Hartford up to 47 Sigourney Street. 84 eastbound, you got delays 48 Capitol Avenue into the tunnel. 291 through 84, that looks good east of the river. 2 eastbound's okay, Glastonbury into Marlboro. 9 northbound, delays 22 in Middletown up to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 eastbound, Waterbury, delays 17 to 18. If you're traveling on the southbound side of 95, delays 46 down to exit 44. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
WTIC weather.
Today looks to be the last day of the current heat wave as a cold front crossing the area will bring us relief from the sweltering conditions once we get to tomorrow and tomorrow night. In advance of that front, hot and humid the rest of today with a mix of clouds and sun. The high at 94. A severe thunderstorm watch is in effect till 8 this evening, and heat advisor also continues till 8 p.m. A strong cold front will usher in some thunderstorms later today and early tonight. Any storm could be severe with torrential downpours that could lead to flash flooding. Potentially hail and damaging winds with any storm. Later tonight, lingering clouds, still humid and low as 72, but it will turn less humid behind the front tomorrow. Morning clouds and some afternoon sun at a high of 89. Clear, cooler, and more comfortable tomorrow night, low 62. Friday, mostly sunny and warm, but with low humidity. Looks like the start of a nice stretch of comfortable weather with a high of 87. Temperature dropping well down into the 60s once again Friday night. This is meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
Get a head start to your day with WTIC News Talk 1080. Listen to us live on the Odyssey app before you even hit the road. Get the breakdown on the biggest news stories that Connecticut is talking about. To get started, download the Odyssey app and search for WTIC News Talk 1080. And now, a WTIC news update.
4:30, good afternoon. I'm John Silva. As you heard, severe thunderstorm watch up through 8 this evening. Strong storms ahead of a cold front will finally push this humidity and high heat out of here that has gripped the region for the better part of the week. Fair weather with lower dew points expected to take over and last through the weekend. 2 people facing charges in an armed robbery Tuesday in Cromwell. Man and woman charged with robbery, conspiracy, and larceny following the incident Tuesday at a motel on Industrial Park Road. Bond for the 2 suspects, $250,000. The name of the man shot to death in Bloomfield has been released by town police. 24-year-old Keandre Hightower was shot in the neck during a fight at a party on Evan Lane. 17-year-old is the accused triggerman. 2 men are facing charges. They swiped cooking oil from a restaurant in Ellington. Jonathan Gutierrez Rosario and Ronald Gutierrez Sant are facing charges. State police say the owner of the restaurant spotted the 2 taking the oil before they fled. They were pulled over on I-84 in Vernon, where police say they had a large tank of oil at the back of their van. Nearly 2/3 of Democrats say President Biden should withdraw from the race and let his party select a different candidate. That according to a new AP poll out today. Senator J.D. Vance addresses the RNC tonight. It will be his first speech since being tapped to run for vice president on the GOP ticket. Tomorrow, former President Trump accepts the nomination in prime time, an address which will air live on WTIC News Talk 1080 beginning at 9. Wall Street, big losses for the NASDAQ today, down 512 points. The Dow gained 284 points, and the S&P was up 78. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit NoTimeToWait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
It's one thing falling in love with a house, picturing yourself moving in and calling it home, and quite another navigating the world of price negotiating, mortgage lenders, and finding the budget that works best for you. An agent who's a Realtor can make understanding that world easier. Realtors have the expertise, access to proprietary data, and tools to help you get from imagining living somewhere to actually doing it. That's the kind of help we can provide. Because that's who we are. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors.
Retirement?
1 minute.
But only if you're not prepared. That's why AARP created thisispretirement.org.
Okay.
Because unless you've already retired, you're in pretirement, and you still have time to plan. Learn about retirement savings options, potential tax breaks, and how you can build savings over time. Visit thisispretirement.org for free resources to help you customize your action plan and feel the retirement fear disappear. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
As a roofer, I'm always on the go. So I need to be able to get things done from anywhere. That's why I partnered with Beacon. With their unique Beacon Pro Plus app, I've got the brands I depend on, like GAF, right at my fingertips 24/7. I rely on Beacon because I never stop building, and neither do they. Now through September 15th, purchase GAF through Beacon Pro Plus and earn up to $1,500. Go to BECN.com or download the Beacon Pro Plus app today. Beacon, always building.
This is Reese on the Radio, filling in for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Oh, that's one of my favorite beats right there. Who produced that? Is that D-Dot? I can't remember. Anyway, it's Reese on the Radio, filling in for Todd Feinberg on News Talk 1080 WTIC. I'll be here all week. Before I get to the phones, I want to let you know, well, actually, we can't get to the phones yet, but stay on the line. We'll get back to you in a second. I want to invite you on Friday here on the show to do sort of an open line like show, and I'm just going to call it the Airing of Grievances Friday. So you get to call up, doesn't matter what it's about, you get to air your grievance, whatever it is that's ticking you off, somebody at the job, you know, something in traffic with Mark Christopher, not with Mark Christopher, just something that he talked about in traffic. You want to air your grievance out about traffic, whatever the case is. So it's an open line forum for you to air your grievance no matter what it is. If you want to air grievance about something I'm talking about on the air, maybe I've given an opinion on something or opined in a way that you don't like it. If you're upset about my view on abortion, whatever, who cares? It's the airing of grievances on Friday. And so we're going to give you a chance to actually say that on the air and share it with the rest of us. And it'll probably be good because some of the ones that are on the Reese on the Radio rundown are actually pretty funny. The airing of grievances is really, really funny. And it runs the spectrum. The guys, Fritz, who comes in with some, White Mike, who calls in and has a grievance. He was upset about the Disney tapes, which is, is that a story? That is the story. The Disney tapes, or the Disney files, as it were. If you haven't been checking them out, James O'Keefe, who came here to Connecticut and covered that Coscop story, you've got, and then subsequently, that was funny because I'm almost certain that James O'Keefe story was when he was with Project Veritas up here in Connecticut. And then I think he did the Pfizer thing, and then subsequently that thing went to the crapper, and then he started OMG. So one of the last big investigations that James O'Keefe did for Project Veritas was right here in Connecticut. So you should check him out. And those Disney files, the stuff that Disney is doing behind the scenes. Oh, wicked, wicked stuff. Oh, it's wicked. And it's stuff you wouldn't believe. And it's funny because I'm always so freaked out by, what you find out people do. I mean, I guess we all do things behind the curtains, I mean, that's the privacy part. But to find out that Disney's doing it at the same time saying, bring the kiddies down to the theaters, and you find out behind the scenes, like they're cooking the books, if you will, like, doing some really nefarious stuff, injecting, ideas and ideals into their films at the same time. Bring the kiddies down, watch our movies. There's nothing nefarious going on here. When you find out, it's sick. Ooh, creepy stuff. As it does. Speaking of, as I said, you can call in air a grievance about Mark Christopher's traffic report at the BPS Traffic Center.
That's right. You're not happy? You let Reese know.
That's right. Let me know on Friday.
You're not happy. Exactly. Hey, if you're heading into Hartford right now, westbound side of 84 delays. East Hartford approaching the Bulkley Bridge at 47 Sigourney. 84 eastbound just losing a little speed getting by 48 Capitol Avenue. 91 southbound delays 33 down to 32 A and B. Northbound 91 moving well. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. 291 through 84. Okay, 2 eastbound moving well. Glastonbury into Marlboro. 9 northbound you got delays 22 up to the Aragoni Bridge in Middletown. 84 eastbound you'll lose some speed as you move between 16 and 17. Again up by exit 18 in Waterbury on the eastbound side of 84. 95 southbound New Haven slowing 46 down to 44. Road closure up in Stafford this afternoon. Route 319 shut down between Furnace Avenue and 11th Hall Run because of a vehicle versus utility pole accident recorded there. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC weather. Your thunderstorm watch is in effect till 8 this evening, and a heat advisory also runs till 8 p.m. Hot and humid the rest of today with a mix of clouds at side high 94. Going to find some thunderstorms across the area here this afternoon and early tonight. The storms are now moving into the western part of the state. Very heavy rain in Danbury right now. Some lighter showers up toward Torrington. It's all headed eastbound. Some of the rain heavy enough to produce flash flooding. There's potential for hail and strong gusty winds that can cause damage. Lingering clouds overnight, low 72. To become less humid tomorrow, not as hot. Clouds to start, then subside, high 89. We'll see sunny and warm Friday with low humidity and a high of 87. Right now it is 92 in Newington. It's 90 degrees in Plainville and 89 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
Hi, I'm Deb. With My Big Y Rewards, I get points when I shop to redeem for discounts on groceries and fuel.
I'm Jan, Deb's sister. With My Big Y Rewards, I get points when I shop to redeem for discounts on groceries and fuel.
Okay, but I said it first.
It's more than food. It's My Big Y Rewards.
Computer Talk is now commercial-free. That means more time for tech talk and more time for your calls. You heard right. Computer Talk with Tab is now commercial-free, powered by GoNet Speed, bringing you lightning-fast fiber internet. Visit GoNetSpeed.com for pricing and availability. Tune in Saturdays, 9 to 11.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Granger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgranger.com or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Getting quality employees
Hold on a minute.
in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle.
Okay.
Unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
It is your girl, Cammie. And I want you to know that when I listen to the radio, okay, I listen to Reese on the radio.
Oh, not bad. Don't get me started. Thinking of a master plan.
Oh.
Anyway, it's Reese on the Radio, filling in with Todd Feinberg on Newton Star 1080 WTIC.
You might want to take Julie from Boston first because she's the only woman that's called.
Okay, good. Okay, let's go to Julie in Boston. Julie B., who sent me the text message because she said there's a whole bunch of guys here I'm not giving any crap to. Julie, you're on with Reese on the Radio. So you think I'm not giving guys enough crap here?
No, but how did you even know it was me?
Oh, come on.
Nobody even answered.
So, Julie, you think I should be giving the guys more crap? I don't think that guys really initiate whether or not the two people are going to get together usually. The women are kind of like the initiators in that level, and the woman should protect herself because she's the one who's going to get pregnant. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not talking about the violent stuff. You know, I'm not even getting into the rape and incest stuff. I'm talking about regular relationships, just that.
No, I'm just talking about like the crazies in the relationship. Like, there's not just women that are crazy in the relationships. You can find wackadoo guys too. Like, you were traumatized, obviously, by Mary.
I was not traumatized. I was just simply, I was triggered. But anyway, so even with that, so what I'm saying to you, Julie, is, and again, you're a conservative, so I know you're a conservative. Is it fair to say that the only options that women have are get an abortion or not? Like, don't they have other plans?
This is why I'm calling, because when I graduated high school, I worked as a hairdresser for like almost 10 years. And so when I first was out of school, I was like 18, 19. I was on my dad's health insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I got into my 20s, I was too old, so I couldn't be on his insurance anymore. Right. And I always worked for like neighborhood hair salons.
Right.
And the ladies that own those places, they couldn't afford to pay for health and dental insurance for like 5 girls. They couldn't do it. So there was a good amount of time that I had no health insurance. And, you know, looking back, like I probably would have qualified for Mass Health with the amount of money I made, but my family wasn't a welfare family, so I didn't know nothing about how to apply for that stuff. So I didn't have it.
Right.
So I was going to Planned Parenthood because out of pocket, I could afford to see the gynecologist there.
Wow.
Which I couldn't see my like, quote, normal doctor at, say, like Mass General. I can't just walk in off the street without insurance and pay for an appointment. No way. But at Planned Parenthood, you can do that. And then my birth control was $20 a month, I want to say, which if I had no health insurance and I was going to CVS, it'd probably be $150, $200. I don't know what they charge.
Right.
With no insurance.
Did Planned Parenthood sell it to you for $20 though?
Yes.
Wow.
$20 I was paying.
Uh-huh.
And if you ever went in there, which you probably haven't, but if you ever go in there, there is condoms on every possible surface, every table, every coffee table, every desk, everywhere.
So contraception is available and it's free of charge.
Yes.
Right.
So you can pay the $20 a month or whatever it is for your birth control pills, and you can get free condoms until they come out of your ears. So there's no excuse for you to get pregnant. There just isn't.
Right.
Even if you're poor. I was poor. I was working as a hairdresser. I was making no money. And I could afford to go there. So I appreciate Planned Parenthood for that. They were there when I didn't have the money to go to the regular doctor. And the birth control was cheap. I appreciate that. So there's no excuse. And there's no way that they're going to make it. I don't care what J.D. Vance says. It's up to Donald Trump and the rest of Congress and Senate and all that.
Right.
They're not going to make birth control.
It's true.
I
Listen,
mean,
I
abortion.
believe.
They're not going to make abortion gone.
Listen, exactly. I don't believe that. First of all, I think it's an act of desperation on the part of Democrats, Elizabeth Warren and the like. Chris Murphy's chiming in on it, and he sounds like a bozo doing it as well. And I think, like I said, it's a bunch of hyperbolic nonsense that people are forced to believe. And again, if you just ask them that question, are you saying there's going to be no more options if they were to get their way? And of course, everyone looks at that and just, they run for the hills if you ask them a legitimate question. Thank you, Julie.
Yeah,
I really. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Nobody wants anybody who's raped or molested or whatever.
Right. Of course.
Forced to have a baby that they don't want.
Of course.
And I also work. It's ridiculous because Massachusetts is always going to have abortion. I don't care what anybody says. They will always have it here. And I work in dog rescue, and you would not believe if, like, somebody in a rescue in North Carolina gets dogs that they can't take, You would not believe the people, like if there's a rescue in New York, the people get in a chain. I can drive from New York, I can drive from North Carolina to Virginia. I can go from Virginia to New York. The people will do everything they can to get those dogs in a chain up to the rescue where they can take them. People will do that. If they had to do that for an abortion, I guarantee they'll make a human train to get you there where you need to go. You maybe shouldn't have to go to that length, but it'll happen.
It's
Like,
funny because
always going to be women.
the case that Elizabeth Warren was just talking about that happened in Ohio with the 10-year-old girl, that's exactly what they did. In essence, they ended up transporting this girl to another state in order to get it done. So you're absolutely right. If people want to get you to an abortion, they will. And this nonsense about people ending up in a back alley with, with other, wired apparatus in order to get an abortion is nonsense. Thank you, Julie. I appreciate you being the lone woman calling in on this one. Hopefully some other ladies will take
you got
your
Chris
lead.
in Berlin. She's a woman.
Oh, okay. Let's take Chris in Berlin. Hello, Chris. You're on with Reese on the Radio.
Hi, Reese.
Hi.
So, okay, let me turn the question over to you.
Okay.
So, if you had a 12-year-old, and
Okay.
she obviously can't make decisions for herself, you're
Sure.
her surrogate. You live in a state with no abortion, no exception for rape and incest. She's raped. It's
Right.
horrible, right?
Yeah.
She gets pregnant. What would you do?
Okay. So we're having a discussion about the extreme, which I said, in essence, isn't my debate here, right? Now, we do understand that I have no debate.
It happens. I mean,
No, I understand it. But, Chris, hear what I'm saying. I have no debate about the extremes. And when I said this, and I just said it to Julie before you got on, I said, I am not talking about the assaults. I am not talking about the rape and the incest. Those, you and I are in agreement that there should be a provision there. Oh, of course, the health and welfare of the mother. Of course, in the event, you're going to, give birth to the child or it's going to kill the mother. Of course, again, you take the proper precaution. You would, of course, the objective is to do no harm, but if indeed you are going to kill the person in order to save the life of the person, first do no harm. I get it. However, I am not making an argument about the extreme. But if you're going to ask me if my daughter at 12 years old was raped, again, and this is probably where you and I are going to have a divide and you probably won't believe me, but the baby didn't rape her. The baby is an innocent person. The baby is not the person.
You would make her have the child.
It's not make. It's not, I don't want to use the word make, but I mean, it's a traumatic situation and I do understand it. But if you're saying that the decision has to be mine and only mine, then that's the decision I take. Right.
You're a single dad.
Right. If I'm the person who's making the decision, again, I'm on a first do no harm. And I know that's tough for people to understand and maybe even be, they can deem that as cruel. And I understand that they would deem it as cruel. But my response to that is, again, you don't, a lot of people always say you can't make decisions for other people's lives, but then while wanting to make decisions for other people's lives, this is my family. And as the father and the patriarch of said family, I'm probably going to make a decision that people wouldn't agree with. And they can call me cruel, for making that decision. But I'm sure this would be I wouldn't, if this happened to my 12-year-old daughter, you can damn well bet I wouldn't be broadcasting it on Twitter to get the opinions of the other troglodytes who would condemn me for it. But if it's a private matter, which is what it is, a private matter, I would deal with it in a private way. And that would be my decision. If I have to talk about it publicly in the way in which you're asking me to do it now, yes, publicly, yes, that is I hate hypotheticals. But if I had to, that's the way I stand. It just is.
Okay. Well, all right.
Well, I appreciate you. But Chris, is there another option for women? We're talking about people in just general conversation, general relationships.
Isn't Texas a state that has no exclusions?
Yeah. Well, no. For regular women who are in relationships with their boyfriend, their spouse, or their significant other, is there another option for them? Is it abortion or no abortion, or do they have other options? Chris?
Do they have other
Yeah,
options?
do they have other options? In essence, we're not talking about pregnancy doesn't happen like cancer or diabetes, right? There is an action that happens before we end up getting pregnant, right? So because it does not happen in a vacuum, is the only choice, as Elizabeth Warren is saying, Roe v. Wade or the Dobbs decision? Is there any in between for women in the states where abortion no longer exists?
They could go to another state.
Or
It's up to them.
Or
I wouldn't make a decision for anybody.
how about
else.
how about abstaining? How about contraception? There are other choices, right?
Sure.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. There are other choices. The
But it
choices is,
happens, you
if
know,
I find out,
you know.
look, I asked this question to a bunch of men, Chris. I asked a bunch of men this question. If your girl and you were dating could not, and there's no advent of abortion, there is no creation of abortion in any way. The doctors don't know how to perform it, right? It doesn't exist. If you knew that you were, by your actions of intercourse with your mate, and you couldn't afford it, would you take precautions the next time you were in relations with your girlfriend? 9 out of 10 said absolutely. I totally would be more careful. I would wear contraception. In fact, in some cases, I would abstain if we didn't have that. And so I asked them, I said, do you believe that in your communities, and a lot of these were poor black men, I said, do you believe in your communities that abortion is being used as a form of birth control? All of them, all 10, responded by saying, absolutely. It is a get out of jail free card for them. That's the way they treat it.
Sure. I hope they don't ban the contraceptives like they're talking.
Well, yeah. Well, I don't listen. Listen, when we know that over 50% of all abortions are actually done with a pill, that's a form of birth control. Mifepristone is a birth control pill, if you really think about it.
Yeah.
So when people say that it's not, nobody treats abortion like a birth control. Well, if it's in a pill form, I'd say it was.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Anyway, but thank you, Chris, and I appreciate you opining about this and jumping in. That means everything to me.
And I like the idea of the airing of grievances.
You do? Okay.
I do. I think that's a great idea. So long
Well,
as you don't cut people off.
I will not. I will let them. I will let them come in for that.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. You're going to hear about it.
That's the airing of grievances. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate the call. Do we still have Mike in Plainville on the line?
No, next is James in Windsor.
Okay, let's go to James in Windsor. Hello, James. You're on with Reese On The Radio. James, you there? Okay. James isn't there. He probably moved on. Let's go to Harry in Terryville. Hey, Harry. I love Terryville, man.
All right. Here's the deal. So I changed my whole mind about everything I was going to say about you or this and that. But here's the number one deal is, like, I appreciate you, filling. You're top of the notch. You're the real deal, and I love it.
What were you originally going to say, Harry?
Well, I don't want to get.
It's okay. I'm a big boy. I promise it won't hurt my feelings. Did you not like me at first?
Yeah. You're aggressive to the point, but you're abrasive, and I like it.
Okay.
So you're right up my alley.
Okay.
So what I want is, you have two Georges. George from Canton is top of the notch and awesome. And I don't want to do caller-on-caller violence.
Please don't.
George from St. Louis, it's like, I mean, come on, man, get a life. He calls all the time about, like.
I know. He's really, really dedicated to green energy, or at least bashing it.
He calls about power grids. It's like, okay, bro, I get it. We got bigger problems here. Okay, I mean, am I right? I mean,
yes. Okay, so you're going to pursue the caller-on-caller violence, even though you don't want to.
Oh yeah, I say I don't want it, but I'm going to start it.
No, don't start. Don't start. But Harry, let's get back to me. I like the comment. So you thought I was a little aggressive. You thought I was a little on the high end.
Yeah. But you know what? Your wife's a lucky woman. And you're a lucky man. So let's keep it. We can agree on that.
Okay. I'm not.
I mean,
okay. But you thought, did you think when you said I was coming off aggressive, did you think that I was like an angry aggressive, like a, angry mite or something?
No.
I'm kidding.
You're right. I'm sorry about all that, but
no, it's okay.
I want everything to, like, I want America to come together again, but
right.
like, here I am, like, getting all amped up because I'm excited.
But do you know what, Harry? You know what? There is. Listen to me. I truly do believe this. The fact that I have you here, and I'm so glad that you just said that. You do want America to come together again, but you know what? I've been saying this on our sister station out in Buffalo, and I've been saying this on my podcast, and I will continue to say this over and over again. We have got to stop looking outward for change that we can do ourselves. That's all it is. That's all it is. Because there are so many people who are angry at everyone else that won't get in line, forgetting that they have a responsibility to themselves to get in line, right? So I hearken back to Michael Jackson's Man in the Mirror song, and in a lot of ways, I remember how much I used to mock that song. In fact, it's one of my least favorite songs by him.
Wow, yeah.
But you know what? If you really think about it, you know, by ignoring the fact that I hate that song, the message is clear and it's so on point. If we really want a world to change, we do have to look at ourselves like that. And even
Justin Timberlake still has a good song.
Yes, he does. And hold on, don't forget that. You know who also repeats those same words? A guy who I respect, Jordan Peterson, says it well. He was in a debate in England talking to a woman about climate change and all this other stuff. He goes, you know, you're running around here screaming and hollering about what you want other people to do while you do nothing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the only way we're going to get some peace is we all have to do our part. We all do.
I mean, it's been a long time. Like, I've never really been I've always considered myself a moderate.
Yeah.
But, like, for the first time in my life, like, I feel like I want to be an American for my parents. And I want to be an American for my children.
That's all you have to do. And you know what? Stick to that. Stick to that platform, and I promise you, you'll be a success beyond a shadow of a doubt. Thank you, Harry, and you live in a beautiful town in Terryville, man. Let's get to
hey, thank you, bro.
Thank you, man. My pleasure. Let's get to the BPS Traffic Center with our good friend Mark Christopher. Hey, Mark, is it beautiful out there, by the way? I'm doing the worst Michael Jackson impersonation ever. People don't know that. People don't know that that song is a very important song. Just listen to the lyrics. You can hate it all you want. We all have to do our part.
How great was Quincy Jones, man?
Did he have anything to do with that song?
Oh yeah.
Oh, he did? Oh, I didn't even know that.
He produced all those albums.
Yeah, I know. I've got my own opinions about him. How's the traffic?
I'm a huge Q fan.
Are you really? Oh, we'll talk about him off. We'll talk about him off the air because trust me, I've got some dirt.
All right, I enjoy what he's producing.
Oh yeah, producing. Yeah, absolutely.
Amazing.
Bar none. Bar
when
none.
you can put Ella Fitzgerald, Bono from U2, on a same record and make it sound really good, you're getting things done there.
Yeah.
If you're heading into Hartford right now and you're on the westbound side of I-84, this traffic report being brought to you by Cape Cod Fence. In westbound 84, you're going to see delays approaching the Bulky Bridge out to exit 47 Sigourney Street. If you're on the eastbound side of 84, that looks slow about a half mile before 46 Sisson Avenue up to 48 Capitol Avenue. Southbound 91 slowing 33 down to 32 A and B. Again, down by exit 28. Northbound 91 moving well, Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. 291, 384, okay. 2 eastbound moving well, Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 eastbound slowing in Waterbury by 18. If you are traveling 8 northbound, you're going to see an accident up by exit 16 and Derby delays back to exit 13 in Shelton. Behind that, 95 southbound in New Haven slows 46 down to exit 44. And up in Stafford this afternoon, Route 319 is shut down between Furnace Avenue and Leventhal Run because of a one vehicle versus utility pole accident reported there. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC is 99 and kicks off a year-long celebration to 100 years on the air. This is WTIC and WTIC FM HD2 Hartford, an Odyssey station.
5 o'clock in afternoon, I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News. Ohio Senator and Vice Presidential candidate J.D. Vance made his first public statements today since being chosen by former President Trump for the number 2 spot on the ticket.
The media keeps on saying they want somebody to tone down the temperature. Well, Donald Trump got shot and he toned down the temperature. That's what a real leader does.
Vice President Harris in Kalamazoo, Michigan, condemned the assassination attempt on Trump last week.
The surest way to reaffirm the strength of our democracy is by engaging in a vigorous and civil exchange of ideas.
Peter Navarro, the former Trump White House official who was thrown in jail for contempt of Congress, was sprung today and is expected to address the convention today. California Congressman and Senate candidate Adam Schiff, the latest prominent Democrat to urge President Biden to give up his bid for a second term. More from correspondent Nicole Killian.
After the Trump assassination attempt over the weekend, some of those calls are really starting to quiet among Democrats. But now, there does appear to be kind of a bubbling up of some of the sentiment. It may have abated temporarily, but it hasn't necessarily quieted some of those concerns among congressional Democrats, now evident with this statement today from Congressman Schiff.
Crews spent a third day on Candlewood Lake in Danbury today looking for two men who disappeared when they jumped into the water Monday night. They never resurfaced. Between 10:15 and 10:30 Monday, the 26 and 38-year-old entered the water. Some witnesses say they jumped from their boat. Name of the man shot and killed in Bloomfield last weekend has been released by town police. Here's WTIC's Morgan Cunningham.
Bloomfield police say resident Keandre Hightower is the man shot in the neck during a fight at a party on Evan Lane around 7:40 Saturday night. Police have a 17-year-old boy from Bloomfield in custody with that shooting. They believe that teen pulled the trigger on the 24-year-old Hightower. Bridget Smith, a 60-year-old woman from Hartford, is also facing charges in the case. She is charged with tampering with evidence in connection with the gun. Smith is also charged with criminal possession of a pistol. Morgan Cunningham, WTIC 1080 News.
East Hartford is receiving $4.5 million from the State Bond Commission for the demolition of an old school in town. The site of the former McCartan Elementary will be prepped for new housing. Officials held a news conference outside the school today to make the announcement. State House Majority Leader Jason Rojas, who represents the town, says he hopes the project will entice new residents to call Hartford home.
Once we demolish the school, get it ready for development and have somebody come in and build some new homes for new families here in East Hartford, which is something that is really needed.
Demolition expected to be completed in time for an expected groundbreaking early next year. That's shaping up to be another busy weekend in Hartford. Police say several high-attendance events could impact traffic in the downtown area. Friday through Sunday is the Greater Hartford Festival of Jazz in Bushnell Park. Connecticut Con runs for 3 days at the Downtown Convention Center. There's also the Pratt Street Salsa Social, the Riverfront Food Truck Festival in Mortenson Riverfront Plaza. As a result, police are advising there will be an uptick in vehicular and pedestrian traffic all weekend and remind everyone to commute responsibly. Wall Street and the Dow finished up 243 points. The Nasdaq lost big, 512 points down, and the S&P was down 78. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
Traffic brought to you by Cape Cod Fence. More than just fences.
Cape Cod Fence Company in Canton is ready to enhance your outdoor living space. For over 5 decades, we've been building and installing quality fences, furniture, and sheds. Call 860-673-3211 or visit CapeCodFence.com. CapeCodFence.com.
WTIC-AM, an equal opportunity.
1 minute.
Dedicated to providing broad outreach regarding job vacancies at our station. We seek the help of local community organizations in referring qualified applicants to our station. Community organizations that wish to receive our vacancy information should call Stephanie Gragan at 804-474-0010. In addition, all listeners are encouraged to visit Odyssey.com for an online listing of job openings at all Odyssey radio
Who we got
stations.
left?
Joel Johnson here with Johnson Brunetti. We do free financial workshops.
You got Barbara and Avon, Tim and Hamden.
Neighborhood.
Barbara and
Topics we
Avon.
cover
Let's go,
are how
Barbara.
to make sure you're not going to run out of money during retirement, estate planning, and also investment risk.
Patty in Naugatuck, Kim in North Connecticut.
Jesus, okay.
Julie in Boston, Barbara and Avon. They all sound the same.
But I already got Julie in Boston.
Yeah, I know. I was just saying they all got the same personality.
Investment advisory services offered through JB Capital, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Insurance products offered through JN Financial, LLC.
You're listening to Reese on the Radio. Filling in today for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
I know this song. I don't know why it's escaping me. Oh, something horrible. It sounds like something Ice-T would do.
Nope.
It's not Ice-T. That's worse.
Come on, man. It's Nas.
Oh, is it Nas? Yes, that's right, Nas. I was never a really big fan. Not
Yeah,
really.
me either.
Nah, never really big fan.
I like some of his beats though.
Yeah, they're all right. Reese on the radio, filling in for Todd Feinberg on News Talk 1080 WTIC. I'll be taking your phone calls in a little bit, so stand by for that. They were talking earlier about the airing of grievances. Chris said that she liked that idea.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
So we're gonna do that on Friday. It's I guess a little similar.
Hey,
to
email me that.
You okay? Sure. It's like it's something that's very similar to like the rant line. Of course, you guys are familiar with it, and a little bit of like open line Friday, so paying homage, to both of them. So it's a little bit of Todd Feinberg and a little bit of Rush Limbaugh, if you will, and so sort of do something that sort of identifies with me. That was my big deal growing up. Was I would hate on everything. My friends used to make fun of me about that. It's like, is there anything you can't hate on? And movies was my favorite. And I meant to say this before. Roland said, he's texted me after Monday's show, and he said Axel F was a good movie. Let me tell you, if anyone refers to something as just a good movie, it means it was awful, and they just can't remember why it was bad. It was an awful movie.
Eddie Murphy still had the little dad jokes. It was funny.
It was awful. It was awful. It just had and everybody looked like they shouldn't have been cops anymore. It should have been called Beverly Hills Nursing Home. That's what it should have been called. Let's go to Mark Christopher in the BPS Traffic Center.
Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you. Good afternoon, everyone. Well, if you're heading Hartford right now, southbound 91 delays 33 down to 32 A and B. Another slight slowdown by 27. Brentwood Airport Road, northbound 91, no issues. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 tied up approaching the Bulky Bridge to 48 Asylum. 84 eastbound delays 44 Prospect Oakwood up to 48 Capitol Avenue. 291 just a little tight getting over the Bissell Bridge as you move Windsor into South Windsor. 2 eastbound looks good. Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound slowing Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 eastbound a little tight by 18 in Waterbury. 84 eastbound losing some speed by exit 5. And again, 84 eastbound slowing by exit 8 in Danbury. 95 southbound New Haven slowing 46 down to exit 44. And if you are traveling 8 northbound, look for some slow traffic now as you move between exit 12 and 13 in Shelton. And if you're traveling up in the northeastern part of the state right now, Route 319 is shut down in Stafford between Furnace Avenue and Leventhal Run because of a one-vehicle crash, vehicle into a utility pole there. Traffic and weather together on the 8th WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC.
Thunderstorm watch till 8 this evening. Heat advisory till 8 this evening as well. A couple of heavy thunderstorms across the area as we go through early tonight. Some of these storms producing downpours that could lead to flash flooding. There's potential for damaging winds and hail. The heaviest storms are now over the southwestern part of the state. There's a severe thunderstorm warning for Fairfield County at the present time. Later tonight,
I just sent that to you, by the way. The airing of grievances.
Oh, cool. Thank you.
Some morning clouds followed by some sun, high 89, then clear, cooler weather.
It's in the chat,
tomorrow
by
night,
the way.
Low 62. Sunshine on Friday. Low humidity.
Yeah, I could pull it from there.
But right now it is 84 in Meriden. It's 82 degrees in Walcott, 87 in Hartford. This is meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Columbia Implant Center in Manchester offers the leading edge in technology, which allows for dental procedures, start to finish in one day. From a single tooth replacement to complete reconstruction, we do it all. Call 860-730-6020 or ColumbiaImplantCenter.com.
So the body knows that it needs to heal itself, but it doesn't know how to concentrate it and target it into just one area. So that's where we come in.
By we, Dr. Ashley Caravelli means the nation's leader in regenerative medicine, QC Kinetics.
We put in those treatments, then it sends out like little signalers to your body. We're able to make the body focus on the areas that need the most healing.
QC Kinetics has gathered brilliant medical minds like Dr. Caravelli and Dr. Mitchell Shinecup, a pioneer in the field of regenerative medicine, to lead the way in these innovative pain treatments.
So at QC Kinetics, we have a whole team working nationwide with cutting-edge research to reach our patients and treat them and know that surgery is no longer their only option.
The consultation is free. Find out if you're a candidate. Call QC Kinetics today.
Call QC Kinetics, 860-440-PAIN. That's 860-440-PAIN.
When you get a chance, don't forget to get me that list.
860-440-PAIN.
Look at you. You way ahead of me.
Come on, man.
Oops. Ever had your singing lessons cut short by icy water?
Oh, I'm sorry, honey.
Say goodbye to those cold notes with Navien tankless water heaters. With Navien, you'll hit all the right notes without the surprise chill. So keep singing and let Navien keep the hot water flowing. And get ready for the encore when you get your utility bill. Tankless water heaters. Visit tanklessmadesimple.com.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's and new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
This is Reese on the Radio, filling in for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
It is your girl, Cammie. And I want you to know that when I listen to the radio, okay, I listen to Reese on the Radio.
Oh, you have no idea. That is the best Mobb Deep song ever made. That is the best. Don't even get me started. When I hear this, you should hear it when I'm driving in my car. I play this beat so loud, especially big noise part. Let me tell you how it's going down. It's on now. No, it's not. Anyway, Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. I'm sorry, folks. I'm a hip-hop head from a hip-hop time. Okay? That's who I am. I can talk politics. I can talk pop culture. That's him. That's the reason why I'm the pop culture critic at large, Reese on the Radio. Reading the comments on here before I get to the phone calls. Juan Cougar, thank you. Welcome to the show called Holoco Take It Easy, homie. John Beckman in the house as well. Fritz says, where did you get the phrase mother, father from? It actually happened because when my kids were very young, we weren't allowed to curse in the house. We weren't allowed to curse in the house. So in order to convey what we wanted to say without cursing, we used to say stuff like mother, father, or we say mother, father, sister, brother. You can actually use those MFSB. So you'd have to say it like that. And so whenever something would screw up, and I'd be like, mother, father. Actually, the first person to ever do that on TV was Red Fox on the Red Fox show that he used to do with Della Reese on CBS. That was the first time I'd ever heard that. And I thought that was so clever. It's a way not to curse. Mary in the house, my ex-wife, checking it out. See, that's how you know. You're a good egg if your ex-wife will come and check you out on the radio. Tim is in Hamden. Hello, Tim. You're on Reese on the Radio on the Todd Feinberg Show.
Well, hi, Reese. There's very few people I would wait 45 minutes on the phone for.
That is very true, and I do appreciate you have no idea.
Yeah, that would be one of my airing of grievances.
That is your airing of grievance? Get it in early. Anyway, I'm assuming you wanted to opine about, you wanted to jump in about the abortion thing. Can I guess there, or is it something else?
That and certainly Elon Musk and everything also. Definitely, the taxpayers are. Let's start with Elon Musk, okay? To begin with, $5 billion of taxpayers' money has gone into his corporations. It's absolutely amazing. So he's now said that he's going to give Trump $45 million a month. $45 million a month.
Okay.
Into his campaign.
Is it a month? Did he say a month?
Every month, yes.
Oh, wow. Okay. Million. I must have missed that part of the story. I remember the $45 million contribution. I must have missed the part where it was a month. Okay, but what's your issue with the fact that he's doing this with his money?
Well, I don't know. Let's say I remember Richard Nixon and I remember campaign finance reform. Why Watergate happened.
Okay, so you're suggesting this is a conflict of interest by donating all that money to the super PAC. Then that means that Donald Trump is.
We've gotten to the point, even here locally, there will be dinners.
Well, let me ask the question first, Tim. Are you suggesting that him donating to the super PAC at $45 million every month, you're saying that now that Donald Trump is at the behest, or I guess in essence, he owes Elon Musk something, that he will then give him a quid pro quo. Are you suggesting that?
I'm suggesting that anyone who gives to any party.
Oh, okay. All right.
That kind of money. I mean,
Okay.
with the local things that they have, have a dinner for the local, XYZ party. Come down. It's only $10,000 a plate, or that sort of stuff. Who in the world could the average person, come up with money like that? We shouldn't have to be spending. And you know what it's going to be? It's going to be in the fall. Every 2 seconds, these commercials. You won't be able to watch commercials about this guy's a Trump, blah, 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 blah. And it'll just be, it'll be like
you never
ridiculous.
Look, Tim, you're never going to be able to look. Politics are what they are as they are. And I understand the whole, it looks corrupt.
They've
it
gotten
appears
out of control.
It has, listen, in a lot of ways, it has gotten out of control. But I don't think, and I can say that about this particular election, right? We know that this was clearly, we could look at the primaries, we could look at the people in their support, even though they say 75% of all voters really don't want either of these guys, which to me, the likelihood of that seems like.
But that means you couldn't put anybody up because.
Clearly, no one listened.
It isn't the primary because they wouldn't have the money.
But wait a minute, that most of that sounds ridiculous. Because Vivek Ramaswamy is no slouch when it comes to finances. He could have financed his own campaign, and he didn't do well because people did not support him. Chris Christie, they had other choices. Nikki Haley was a holdout, so it wasn't like there weren't people.
But the same thing with the Democrats. Couldn't put up anybody else. Up there against them because there would have been too much money against.
Yeah, and I understand that. But guess what? Donald Trump did not have a lot of people who were throwing their money or throwing their weight his way. The people clearly, this was a people's, yes, it was, and it was. This was a people's campaign to get Donald Trump back into the White House by donating.
He's got so many.
No, the donors didn't listen to me. A lot of people didn't think he had a shot in 2022, even though they knew he was clearly running. They didn't think a donor would even touch him, especially with the fact that he had all of those indictments and coming, pretty much. And the fact that we had the mugshot, they said that no one was going to support him. And sure enough, people were quietly supporting, hiding in the, the woodworks. And then what happened? This was a people's campaign.
A lot of quiet. A lot of $30 donations.
Exactly. So in essence, we can't say that Donald Trump's nomination was a big money. Wait a minute, Tim. Listen to what. Let me just finish the sentence. Tim, let me finish the sentence, please. We cannot say, and you cannot say, right, at all, that Donald Trump, who is a billionaire, was a big money financed campaign. You know it wasn't. This was a people's campaign.
OpenSecrets.com. People can look at that.
Okay. All right.
OpenSecrets.org.
Okay. There's no convincing you that there's no convincing you that Donald Trump, one of the most reviled people, the most reviled corporate guys in the world, and after everything that happened to him, that the corporate donors were out there throwing their weight behind him.
Also going back to Elon Musk, why would you move to Texas? I hate the
He's
fact
waiting. You know what? Let me say this about Elon Musk, just so we can wrap this up. It's 3 months away from the election. Elon Musk push up $45 million a month, as you say, for the next, 3 months? Let's break this down, okay? At this particular juncture, it was the day he got shot that Elon Musk decided to throw him that money. We're talking 2 days before he was about to be pretty much given before he was about to give the nomination of the Republican nominee by delegates at the convention.
He wanted Vance in there, to be the thing. And
again, but the bottom line still remains is that when Elon Musk decided to throw his weight around him, the game had pretty much been set up, right? It's not like he did it a year ago or 2 years ago. He did it at the last possible minute. So it has no influence.
He's been saying nothing. What I'm trying to say also is the fact, I also hate the fact that states like Connecticut, Massachusetts, and other states, have to compete against other, corporate donations and stuff, taxpayer funded, so we can move GE to a different location, or this one, to Texas.
I could have said that about the Democrats in Ohio. Don't they have to have their nomination happen online because they're worried about a deadline?
Well, I'm talking. I was talking about corporate subsidies where we just essentially have corporate welfare over and over and over. And I'll wrap
I'm
up
no
with
fan
it
of
like
corporate
this.
welfare either. I'm
We have a ton of
absolutely.
it, and we're competing and stuff. So basically, the other options as far as abortion and those kinds of issues, you guys get your government out of my family business. Get out of my business, whether it's
Don't
supporting
change
or
the
opposing that
goalposts,
sort of
Tim. Don't change the goalposts.
I'm not
Answer
saying
the
it's always
question.
been
Let me
there.
listen. If you
Yes,
want to
it is.
address the abortion thing, answer the question that I asked. Do women have an option other than killing their babies or not? Do they have another option?
Of course.
What is
that
the other
includes-
option?
That includes adoption and other things.
And
that,
abstaining, right?
they can do. You never.
And
mentioned
abstinence,
that
right?
Sort of stuff.
And abstinence,
Now,
right?
They can tell the government to keep.
Wait,
their
wait, wait.
dirty
But they do
hands.
have the choice of
This is
abstinence too, right?
This is the state. This is
Why
Griswold
doesn't?
versus
Okay, all right.
Connecticut.
I'm done with him. Yeah, the fact that they can't even mention abstinence, it's almost like they have to have sex. I can't understand it. I can't understand it. They just have to have the sex. They have to have the sex, Reese. Do you understand that? They can't abstain. They must have the sex. They must have the sex so they can get pregnant so we can kill the baby. Do you understand that? You understand that? We have one plan and one plan only, and that is the act of killing the baby. So they must have sex, and they must get pregnant, and they must abort the child. You can't tell them to abstain, just please. Let's go to Barbara in Avon. Hello, Barbara. You're on Reese on the Radio.
Hi. Boy, that was rough. I
Yeah,
was
it
on the
is.
phone listening
Barbara,
for an hour,
so
and then Tim
did-
comes on. Shoot me, somebody.
What did you want to chime in about, Barbara? Did you want to chime in on the abortion thing?
Yes, I did. The girl in Ohio, the young girl that was raped.
Yes.
You mentioned that girl an hour ago.
Mhm.
I think she was 10 years old.
Yes.
She was, is that correct? She was raped by her mother's illegal alien boyfriend.
correct.
That's why they had to take her to another state.
That is correct.
To clarify.
And
They didn't
also,
want
and
anyone
also the
else to
fact that
rape her.
the OBGYN who took care of the 12-year-old was actually charged. I think the case was thrown out, but she knew that the 10-year-old girl was pregnant by the woman's boyfriend and illegal and an adult and failed to report it.
Yes, which that it should have been reported.
Yes.
Anyway, so I just want people to hear the facts about that, because when you just say the girl had to
Yes.
go to another state, it makes it sound so oppressive. And when it was done because they didn't want people to find out who the rapist was.
That's exactly right. 100% right.
Donald Trump has said many times that abortion is a states' rights issue. It
Always
has
should be.
nothing to do with the federal government. He wants to not be in the business of talking about abortion. And it's a wedge issue the Democrats started using back in the 60s because they knew they could dangle it over women, and they all start falling apart.
Mhm.
And then they vote Democrat every time because they're afraid they can't have an abortion or they can't have free sex or whatever the heck these women want.
That's exactly right. Barbara, thank you so much. I appreciate you chiming in. Mike is in Plainville. Hello, Mike. You're on with Reese on the Radio.
I am so glad that I go to bed early because I don't have to listen to all the divisiveness, the Elizabeth Warrens.
Oh, my goodness.
Kamala Harris's. I'm ready to call California psychics and see if they can get rid of that soundbite you play before you come back on the air. Can you get rid of that?
I promise you we will no longer play it in 3 months. No, I'm kidding. No. We're actually gonna add some other stuff for it. Like I'll admit, it looks like I don't like anything that sort of gets played over and over again. So I get it.
Have you heard the joke about Yogi Berra and Rock Hudson?
No, what's that?
I can't, not on the air. Can you put me over to Roland, and I'm going to tell him the joke, and he can tell you in private.
You got it, Mike. I appreciate you. Hey, I want to say, we got a new listener. He's not new. He's been back here before. What's his name? Michael Niner Jordan, and whom I love, and I'm giving him a shout out. You guys don't know him, and he's a good friend. He's missing me in a lot of ways, and he's screaming and hollering about muting or mute, but we don't do that over here. It's a completely different world. I know that you come from a fairyland that you probably are a part of and you enjoy earlier in the day, but that place isn't real. You've actually joined reality over here at the Reese on the Radio rundown, and of course Reese on the Radio filling in for Todd Feinberg. So don't worry about it. Over here, you can come in and have fun and enjoy, but be respectful and please mind your manners, and that's all you have to do. And I appreciate that. Okay, so they're giving me text messages and all that other stuff. So anyway, if you wish to opine, don't forget to pick up the phone by calling us at 860-522-WTIC, 860-522-9842. And when we come back at the bottom of the hour, because I want to get into a little bit of pop culture stuff, because I promised I get into it, not really pop culture stuff, but just the area of trying to start propaganda that doesn't exist. And Michael Steele of MSNBC, former Republican national Republican chair, the Republican National Committee chair, Michael Steele is on MSNBC, and what he said on Morning Joke, I think it was. In fact, let me just double check to make sure I got it right. Was it Morning Joke? No, it wasn't on Morning Joke. It's on some other show. Anyway, at the Republican National Convention about Donald Trump baffles me because, as I said before, we in the culture start hearing people say ridiculous stuff and we wonder where we got it from. Well, guess what, folks? I'm going to preface that by finally showing you what some people are going to start repeating very soon. Let's get to the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher. Hey, Mark.
Hey, Reese, thank you very much. Good afternoon to you, and good afternoon, everyone. If you're heading into Hartford right now, southbound side of 91, look for delays 33 down to 32. Again, down by exit 28 on the Hartford Weathersfield line. Now, northbound 91, that moves very well. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. Westbound 84 tied up approaching the Bulkley Bridge up to exit 45 Flatbush Avenue. 84 eastbound delays. 44 Prospect Oakwood up to 48 Capitol Avenue. A little tight again out by 59 and the 384 interchange in Manchester. 291, 384 okay east of the river. 2 eastbound moving well. Glastonbury to Marlboro. 9 northbound.
Don't worry there, Michael Niner Joyner. He'll never get that opportunity again. Absolutely. Greener pastures over here. Much greener. Much greener. But you could tell all those folks out there that I said hello. You tell them that I said hello. And they can find Reese on the Radio right over here. Okay? Just go to reeseontheradio.com. All right?
Proudly been keeping Connecticut healthy for nearly 25 years. ProHealth accepts Husky Medicaid, Medicare, TRICARE, and most major insurances. For trusted local care for your whole family, call 1-855-CT-MD-411 or visit ProHealthMD.com.
WTIC.
Today looks to be the last day of the current heat wave as a cold front crossing the area will bring us relief from the sweltering conditions once we get to tomorrow and tomorrow night. In advance of that front, hot and humid the rest of today with a mix of clouds and sun. The high at 94. A severe thunderstorm watch is in effect till 8 this evening, and heat advisor also continues till 8 p.m. A strong cold front will usher in some thunderstorms later today and early tonight. Any storm could be severe with torrential downpours that could lead to flash flooding. Potentially.
I've got time. What, I got like 6 minutes?
Later tonight, lingering clouds, still humid and low as 72, but it will turn less humid behind the front tomorrow. Morning clouds and some afternoon sun at a high of 89. Clear, cooler, and more comfortable tomorrow night, low 62. Friday, mostly sunny and warm, but with low humidity. Looks like the start of a nice stretch of comfortable weather with a high of 87. Temperature dropping well down into the 60s once again.
I'm screaming for you.
This is meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
And now, a WTIC news update.
5:30, good afternoon, I'm John Silva. East Hartford is receiving $4.5 million for the demolition of an old school in town. Site of the former McCartan Elementary is being prepped for new housing. Bids will go out for the project and expect to break ground early next year. In Ellington, police are charging 2 men with a theft of cooking oil. It was a little after 5:30 Tuesday morning. Police responded to a burglary in progress at a town restaurant. Owners said 34-year-old Jonathan Gutierrez Rosario and 29-year-old Ronald Gutierrez Sant were pumping the oil from the rear of a restaurant into the back of their van. Suspects were stopped on 84 in Vernon. That's when troopers say they discovered a large tank in the rear of the van containing the oil. Both are facing numerous burglary charges and being held on bonds of $100,000 apiece. Tonight, it's Senator J.D. Vance's introduction to a national audience as the Republican vice presidential nominee delivers a speech before the RNC. Republicans are expected to focus on President Biden's handling of the ongoing crises in Europe and the Middle East. Tomorrow, former President Trump will accept his party's nominee for a second term. We will carry Trump's speech live here on WTIC News Talk 1080 beginning at 9 tomorrow evening. Speaking of Biden, an AP survey shows 2/3 of Democratic respondents think he should drop out of the race. And California Congressman and Senate candidate Adam Schiff has become the latest high-profile Democrat to ask Biden to withdraw following the debate debacle last month. On Wall Street, the Dow finished up 243 points. The last NASDAQ was way down, 512 today, and the S&P off 78. For these stories and more, go to WTIC.com. I'm John Silva, WTIC 1080 News.
To get your AC system ready to run at peak efficiency and save on energy costs this summer, go with Petro. Call 844-HVAC-4YOU now to schedule your AC tune-up. Petro's expert technicians can tune up and repair AC systems from all major brands to help prevent future breakdowns and potentially costly repairs. For a stress-free AC summer, go with your local HVAC pros. Go with Petro. Book your AC tune-up now. Go to petro.com, call 844-HVAC-4YOU or 844-482-2496 today.
Paid for by government. Did you hear? A secret hoard of 1904 $20 gold.
Hold on a minute.
Been found. These gorgeous 1904p gold coins are as bright and shiny as the day they were struck, and less than 500 of these gold coins are available. Coin experts are calling this secret U.S. gold coin discovery a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and you can own a piece of the hoard. When you call, you are guaranteed a 1904 gold Liberty struck at the iconic Philadelphia Mint. With limited availability, you must call now. These 1904 dated gold coins are still in uncirculated condition with brilliant luster. That is 120 years of history you can hold in your hand. To learn more, call 1-800-973-3077. Call now, and you'll receive a free bonus, a $75 value free with every order. Call 1-800-973-3077 now to secure your 1904p $20 Gold Liberty coins before they sell out. That's 1-800-973-3077.
This is Reese on the Radio, filling in for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Is it time for us to go up?
Yeah, I gave you the 1 minute.
It's Reese on the Radio. News Talk 1080 WTIC. We went up on the top of the break early. Anyway, let me get this thing back up here. Anyway, don't forget, folks, you can always go to ReeseOnTheRadio.com. That's ReeseOnTheRadio.com. So you can check out the show live. You can chat in the chat room. So if you don't want to or can't answer the phone because you're at your desk or whatever the case is, just go in the chat room and put it in there, and I'll read it off for everyone. Before we go into this Michael Steele audio, let's go to Craig in the car. Craig's waited. Hello, Craig. You're on Reese on the Radio on the Todd Feinberg Show. What's going on, sir?
Not much. Remember I called you.
I remember.
After the debate.
Yep.
How's that prognostication looking?
Looking pretty good, my friend. I think you.
What are we up to?
I think you were right on par.
Members of Congress?
Say again.
20 members of Congress now. Yeah.
Yeah, we're definitely up there. We're definitely up there.
Well,
so,
hey, listen, I got bad news for Tim. Hey, Tim. The last thing that's going to put Trump over the top is Elon Musk's money.
Exactly.
This is not a money issue any longer.
And it's interesting because I almost feel like I'm hearing a lot of desperation out of so many people about this, and I think it's like wiggling in quicksand is what I'm seeing. And there's a lot of it. If I could keep you on, Craig, sit with me while you and I go over what has to be the most ridiculous commentary that happened on television. In fact, here's what the headline reads. There are a lot of questions around that ear. MSNBC's Michael Steele pushes Trump shooting conspiracy theories in bizarre commentary. Listen to what this buffoon said on live television.
Start with last night in the Band-Aid. That's fine. Where I am at this point is it's been 3 days going on 4 since this horrific event occurred. A person lost their life, 2 have been severely injured, and yet we've not received a medical report from the hospital, nor have we received a medical report from the campaign or from the Trump organization about the extent of the damage to his ear. If he was shot by a high caliber bullet, there should probably be very little ear there. And so we'd like to know that. Is there cosmetic surgery involved? What is the prognosis for recovery? Were there stitches? What is the extent and nature of the damage to his ear? Was it caused by a bullet, as opposed to, as some reports from those on the scene, other reporters, saying that it was actually shards of glass from the teleprompter itself, not the bullet? So there are a lot of questions around that ear. And yet there's been no response to that. Instead, just showing the image of the man coming into the hall with the wound.
Need we go any further? This is an organization of people, be it press, be it the Biden administration, be it Democrats writ large, wiggling in quicksand and thinking they are going to get themselves out of it by just screaming any ridiculous theory. Now it's an ear. And the worst part about it is, think about it. Donald Trump was looking at the teleprompter in the direction. He has a teleprompter on both sides, okay? The teleprompter, if indeed the glass shards were hit, like the teleprompter was hit from bullets, if it were to be to the point where that glass was shattered to cut his face, the front of his face would have suffered damage, not his ear, because his face was the closest thing to it. Let's go to the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher. Thank you, Craig, for going through that with me. Hey, Mark.
All right, Reese, thank you very much. Well, if you're heading into Hartford right now, westbound side of 84, you're going to see delays approaching the Bulkgate Bridge up to 47 Sigourney Street. 84 eastbound, you've got delays approaching 44 into the downtown tunnel. Southbound 91's a little slow, 33 to 32, again, 27 to 28. 91 northbound, that looks good. Cromwell through downtown up into Windsor. 291, 384, okay, east of the river. 2 westbound, moving well. Glastonbury into East Hartford, just a little slow as you merge with 84 west. 9 northbound, slows Harbor Park to the Aragoni Bridge. 84 eastbound, Waterbury tight by 18. If you are traveling 84 eastbound in Danbury, delays New York, Connecticut line out to exit 5. 84 eastbound, a little slow again by exit 11 in Newtown. Slightly slow southbound Parkway by 60 in Hamden. 95 South New Haven slows 46 down to exit 44 in New Haven. And if you are traveling up in the northeastern part of the state right now, Stafford, Route 319 shut down between Furnace Avenue and Leventhal Run because of a crash, a vehicle into a utility pole there. Traffic and weather together on the 8's WTIC News Talk 1080.
WTIC. Thunderstorm now closing in for the west. A severe thunderstorm watch is in effect till 8 p.m. Heat advisory also expires at 8 p.m. Thunderstorms will move through the first part of tonight. Some with downpours, damaging winds, even hail. Later tonight, lingering clouds. Humid with the low of 72. Tomorrow becoming less humid, cloudy to start. Then a mix of sun and clouds in the afternoon, high 89. Clear and cooler tomorrow night, certainly more comfortable. Low of 62. Then mostly sunny on Friday, low humidity. And a high temperature of 87. Right now it is 84 in Unionville. It's 79 degrees in Bristol, 87 in Hartford. I'm meteorologist Bob Larson of the WTIC Weather Center.
Don't just live with foot pain. Find the Good Feet store nearest you at goodfeet.com.
Start your day with all the latest sports information. Matt Soroyce has updates from the Cordell and Cordell Sports Desk at 15 and 45 past every hour. Only on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier.
Hey, what do we
better,
do about
and feel
live
healthier with
reads?
Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store.
You don't have to worry about any live reads.
Oh, okay. Were there none?
Oh no. There are none. He only gets like it's not football season. That's when they really come. It's like
for FanDuel
and all that stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but you won't have to worry. They're gonna figure something else out. Unless they, give you the spot, then you'll be responsible for them.
Got it.
Visit CampbellCooling.com. Campbell Cooling uses all major name brands, including.
I always see you don't gotta worry about it.
Equipment.
Yeah.
Let our expert technicians cool your home this summer.
We all hear the radio ads about the
Yes,
IRS.
we know the mic's
They
hot
want you to
during
be
commercials,
afraid, to be
Kevin.
scared, and they try to
It's on
frighten you into
purpose.
calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce
30 seconds.
Thank
the
you.
IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at
And 10.
or call 800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
You're listening to Reese on the Radio, filling in today for Todd Feinberg on WTIC News Talk 1080.
Uh-oh. It's Reese on the Radio, News Talk 1080 WTIC. Michael Niner Jordan said, man, I'm so glad that Trump wasn't killed, thank God. Let me say this before we get up out of here. There's this idea that if this attempt had actually happened, that we would have seen a civil war. And I said this before, and I'll say it again. And the worst part is that when you try to talk to dopes about this who don't know any better, you're never going to get anywhere. It's sort of like it's talking to a human brick wall. And it's either because they just want to argue or just debate for the sake of debating, or they don't, you ask them a serious question and they look at you and they get angry about it. And I've dealt with that before in my past. So let me just lay it down for you. Okay? When you say civil war, you got to answer the simplest of questions. Against whom? Against whom? Who is, and Rudy and I have even talked about it, Rudy in Florida, he might remember this, a little more than a year ago. Who are we going to war against? Okay, it's me. I'm a MAGA Republican, and I'm going to war with, who's my enemy? Who am I going to meet at Fort Sumter? Who is going to be the enemy on the opposite side of that hill in Gettysburg? Who's the mortal enemy? And when you say that to somebody, they all look at you like you have three heads because they hadn't thought that far. Is it my neighbor who has a Biden Kamala Harris sign outside their door? Is that, or am I now at war with somebody who has a sign in their window that says, remember their names, Black Lives Matter? Are they now the enemy? Right? That I'm now going to war with? And how exactly am I going to war? Am I going to point my finger harshly at them? You know better. You're an evil person. Or are we going to be going to fisticuffs, or much worse? We're just going to start whipping out weapons, anything that we could get our hands on. Huh? What's the Civil War going to look like? And if you haven't thought that through, perhaps you should stop saying it. It would have been a tragedy in this country. The movement would have been huge. The rally behind just the idea of MAGA would have been huge. And let's be honest, Democrats as a political party, not as individuals, not as human beings, but as an ideology, would have been mud. It would have been mud. The ideas of liberalism would have been frowned upon at every level. And people would have made it so because you can see them on Twitter now. You can see them on Facebook now. You can see them on Instagram now. People who were celebrating, making jokes, commentary, like the Tenacious D bandmate who says, next time don't miss. those things would have been frowned upon. People would have been removed from polite society. The cancel culture would have come out for the people who are responsible for creating cancel culture in the event that he would have lost his life. Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, what's his name? Adam Schiff, Maxine Waters, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, they would not be able politically to be able to get elected again, ever. People would respond in kind and they would say that no, this ideology that would ever allow that to happen to an individual that they didn't believe with ideologically, that would allow that to happen to someone, that the rhetoric had reached so much that someone would have to lose their life. Politically, it would be damaging to them. That's what would have happened. And there's evidence of that. How do we know? Donald Trump is absolutely going to win this election in November, without a doubt. And the people who are coming out are people we've never would have thought of, The amount of diversity that the left have been screaming and hollering, saying that they wanted, is turning out for the guy who says doesn't want it. People are showing up in droves. People are no longer shy about throwing their support towards Donald Trump. They are no longer trapped in the ideology of their race and their sexual orientation. They are openly supporting that man and his ideas. There is no more shyness associated with Donald Trump. People are wearing MAGA hats in San Francisco. That's unheard of. Get it through your thick heads. What happened on Saturday created a sea change. No, your bills did not get cheaper. Gas prices are still what they are. Many people cannot afford food and to survive. But you can damn well bet they are hopeful for a brighter future, and they believe that Donald Trump will give it to them. And that is a momentum that liberals, no matter what their rhetoric, can't stop. Let's go to Brian in Portland. Hello, Brian. You're on with Reese on the Radio.
Hi, good afternoon. How are you?
Pretty good, sir.
Yes, sir, Mr. Reese. My mother, growing up, devout Catholic, Hartford girl, she had two stories for me when I became a registered voter, or she wanted me to become a registered voter. She said, here, let me give you a story. You're broke down on the side of the road. A Republican will pull up to you, seeing you have a flat tire. The Republican will say to you, where were you when I had a flat tire? Nobody helped me. Now, I understand, sir, my mother can make up any story she wants.
Sure.
She wants to give you this lecture. Okay? But she also said, a Democrat will see you, will stop, will help you, and will say to you before they leave, if you see someone broke down on the side of the road, you should try to help them. So I said to my mother, can we cut to the chase? What's the moral of this? And she was very effective in this phrase. She said that just because no one ever helps you in your life shouldn't stop you from helping other people in their lives.
Correct.
Now, I ticked off my mother that day because I didn't become a Democrat like she wanted me to. And I didn't become a Republican that she didn't want me to become. I became an independent. So I'm in the middle, sir.
Right.
Every afternoon, I have to listen to talk radio that is at one extreme or another extreme. And it's very upsetting. I come from a land of, you talked about having respect, and you'll use phrasings like, you're a dope, or when are these people going to get it through their thick heads? I just don't see the demeaning remarks that could be made like that are going to be effective in all of us trying to get along. And, sir, I don't know you, and I don't know Mr. Trump personally, but when you ran for office, and this is my question to your listeners, at least on the radio, I'd take a bullet for Donald Trump in a second, because that's what Americans do. Sir, I would take a bullet for you, and I don't even know you, because that's what Americans do. But my question in 2016 to Donald Trump is, would you take a bullet for Reese? Would you take a bullet for me? Because I'm thinking he's not going to be quick to answer that the way I did. And the response being, this is what Americans do. So I don't understand understand that philosophy.
Okay. Let me respond, Brian. Brian, let me respond before we.
Let me just leave you with this.
Okay.
This is my predicament. Being an independent, do I vote for a guy who's pretty sick and is not getting any healthier as we speak, or do I choose a guy who might be someone is going to try to shoot this guy every single day of his administration? So I'm stuck with person who's going to die or a person that people want him to die.
Okay.
So who do I vote for?
Okay, I'd be happy to answer that for you, and I hope you're listening when I give my retort. And I'll put it to you this way. When I respond to someone and I've called them a dope, I'm talking about the people who are, in essence, acting dopey, suggesting that we're going to have a civil war. It is a dopey sentiment to believe that Americans are going to turn on each other, their neighbors, their friends who may disagree with them, and believe that those people deserve to either die or to be harmed in some way because of their ideological differences. I think at the moment people will recognize that this is not where we want to be, and we are nowhere near that. There was a time when we were, but we're not there anymore. We're nowhere near that because now there's a consequence to taking someone's life. We're not at Civil War level. We're never going to be at Civil War level. I think people talk that rhetoric because, again, they are dopey. But you know what? I'd rather be condemned for calling somebody a dope than to be calling somebody a Hitler or calling somebody a fascist or saying that fascists need to be stopped, if not killed. I can deal with somebody being upset with me calling them a dope because I can say, if you're acting dopey, dopey is good, okay? In the sense of it's not a smear, it's a dopey behavior to act like. And if you're trying to decide on whether or not you should vote for someone who's sick or someone's trying to take out, I think Donald Trump answered the question. Donald Trump has Secret Service around him for one reason and one reason alone, because he knows there's a threat to his life. In fact, he was told before he was shot that there was a threat from Iran. If that's true or not, who knows? But he knows that there is a threat against his life every day. So it's pretty evident after Saturday that he would take a bullet for me. If I needed any evidence of that, I got it. That's where we are. And I believe that. And if you don't want to be, if Donald Trump is somebody you don't want to vote for, that's absolutely fine. I am not here in the business, although some people will tell you I am not here in the business to persuade you to vote with me because I told you to vote. The only thing I am here to do is to display the evidence and you be the jury if you want to be. Other than that, I'm not Fox News. I'm not iReport and you decide. You've probably already made your decision. And when you get into that ballot box and you make it, it won't matter whether or not I know or I don't. It will matter to you at the end of the day. I believe that this country is at the precipice of going in the wrong direction for a long time. And I think we're at the brink that we need to turn it around. And I believe that this man will do it. And I'm here to convey that feeling and that sentiment to you. That's all I'm here to do. Let's go to Bill in Rocky Hill before we get up out of here. Hello, Bill. You're on with Reese on the Radio.
Hey, buddy, what's up? Hey, the first thing I want to say about anyone who's ever played sports or anything is your ear is made of cartilage.
Yes.
Cartilage.
Yep.
You have to admit, you have to make a new plastic one and get it replaced.
That's right.
It doesn't heal. That's it.
That's it. And Michael still doesn't know what he's talking about. What he's doing, he's creating a conspiracy theory that dodos will repeat over and over again. And people say, how come they didn't release any medical report? And they'll just repeat the exact thing. That was the point I was trying to make, is that they'll repeat that.
Right. The second thing I want to say is they don't know how lucky they are is Trump is alive, because you would have seen the biggest revolution.
That's what I'm saying.
Against Democrats, every guy that could shoot a deer from 1,000 yards away.
No, we're not going there. We're not going there. No.
I'm just saying.
Bill, listen. That wouldn't have been the case. I'm telling you this. The revolution would have been Democrats wouldn't have been able to get elected for another. Listen, they would have been able to get elected for another 20 years. I'm telling you that without a doubt. Democrats wouldn't hold any real political office for another 20 years because, again, this would be an assault on freedom and the so-called democracy they keep claiming they wish to protect. That it absolutely would happen after the fact. But thank you for the call. Mark in West Hartford's on the line. Why can't we be friends? Hello, Mark.
Listen, I just one, I know I don't have time, but that 2 callers ago, I'm going to use his mother's way of presenting who people are. So a Democrat to me are those in charge of cities and the infrastructures that won't maintain a road. So when you get you will get a flat tire, but they're going to give you a tire to replace it with on the backs of the taxpayers.
Exactly.
That's how I'm going to describe. It has nothing to do with who's going to do what and fix their own, but yeah, that's what they do. Hey, listen, Friday, I can't wait to call. You said air your grievances?
Yeah, airing of grievances on Friday. We're going to let anybody and everybody air their grievance on Friday.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
I have been calling talk radio for decades, literally. And I've never had what happened to me today, and we don't have enough time.
No,
now,
but don't worry about it.
Listen, I lost 2 friends. Listen, you're going to love this. Lee Elsie and George Colley are no longer my friends because of Ben Frodo, and I'll have to break it down for you, and Rudy from Florida.
Well, we'll get into it on Friday, Mark. I promise you, buddy. I promise you we will. And answer my phone calls when I call you, damn it. All right, folks. That's all we can do. As I always say, radio is free, so we thank you for paying attention. Remember to keep JC in your hearts and in your mind. Sean Patrick, we love you and we miss you. Remember that panic is not planning, so plan your work and work your plan. Me, I'm Reese on the radio. You have a good night, pleasant tomorrow. We'll see you back here at 3 p.m. Let's get to the BPS Traffic Center with Mark Christopher. Hey, Mark.
Reese, have a great night. And if you're heading into Hartford right now, you're on the southbound side of I-91.
All right, good sir.
Thank you. What are you going to do with the airing of grievances?
Don't worry about all that.
Are you going to surprise me?
Don't worry about all that.
You like that idea, huh?
Yeah, it was nice.
All right, okay. All right, I will talk to you tomorrow.
All right, sir.
All right, buddy.
Avenue looks good, 291, 384, 2 eastbound in great shape, Glastonbury to Marlboro. No problems in Middletown. You're heading into Waterbury right now.
All right, everybody, enjoy. Michael Niner Jordan, thank you for joining me. I'm sorry I can't be a part of the old broadcast over there on Blog Talk, but I think that time has passed. I gave a good 13 years to that show, and it's time for me to move on. But I'm here if you ever want to hang out. Okay, all right, pleasure having you here, man.